posting? Like on the page?
Right now, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
This meeting's being live.
We are live
streamed on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to make sure it's being streamed on the right page. Hey, everybody that's listening. Oh yeah, it looks like we're up. Good. Well, all right. Yep. Cool. We are live. And I want to make sure it made it to the group as well. Does it not go up on the group live? It does, doesn't it?
Good. See.
Sorry, guys. Our producer is out of town today, and
we are left on our own accord, and as you can tell, it's not a good accord.
I have not had to host since we added the page and not just the group. I wonder if we have to go to the page and share it to the group.
Have groups. Boom, boom, boom. Ba-da-dum, da-da-dum.
I think I got it.
I'm glad you got it because I can't figure out how to get to the page. Pages.
Yeah, we are live on both channels, my friends. All right. I will monitor that since you guys haven't figured out how to get there. I will monitor the chat on the page. If somebody else will monitor the group chat, that would be much appreciated. Don't everybody volunteer at the same time.
Yeah. I've decided you're talking to the audience.
I'm not, you idiots. I need one of y'all to monitor the chat on the group. I'm monitoring the chat on the page.
All right, then I'll do the group.
All right. Since you couldn't figure out how to get to the page, I figured that was probably.
I figured out how to put shades on myself. Look at
that. It's that gangster.
Every time I try to do like backgrounds or filters, there are none. Which is dumb because like
everyone else has them.
In other meetings. Well, yeah, and in other meetings, it's not like it's the computer because like we could, Mickey can do
it. There's a lot of things Mickey can do that you can't.
Technically, that's not normally true. Normally, I'm the Bill Gates in the family. There's no doubt about that.
That team standing up. That's pretty much it. I've seen her out there with the lawnmower.
Yeah, she likes to mow the grass, or at least likes it cut a whole lot more than I do. That I can get our grass mowed for like nice. But no, put the butterfly back. You can be like who was it before he didn't have enough the game, remember? It was like you remember that he got the butterfly and he was like, look, I asked him what like a new beginning means or something. It was butterfly, it is what it is, like, and then like 6 months later, it was like, apparently, I'm not tough enough to pull that shit off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm just saying, there are certain rappers, they got a butterfly. Everybody be like, dude, got a butterfly. What the fuck?
That's right. That's right.
Is apparently not one of them.
Was it? Did it?
Gangsters don't do butterflies. Not like that. I mean,
the game.
I love butterflies.
The game
The game. Yeah.
Yeah. He's close. I think he's close. But no.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, truth be told, anybody who's like, I don't give a shit if you make fun of my butterfly can do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you really want it, you ain't gonna give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I think he said, "What is it?" And they said butterfly, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna have to pull off a butterfly." You know what I mean? That can't be your response when you're gonna get a butterfly on your face. You got to be like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." You know what I mean? Like,
why not? Let's do it.
It's not gonna work. You know what I mean? It's you know, when you put on a pink shirt, you either think I look fly as fuck, or you think, man, I wonder if everybody's gonna make fun of my pink shirt. If that's your response, take the fucking shirt off. You know what I'm saying?
Take the shirt off. Take the shirt off. You can't pull it off. If you doubt
I don't know
yourself,
why for some reason I cannot go live on Facebook.
Oh, we're live.
No, I'm talking about like me. Anytime I
Like on your page.
yeah, it doesn't let me like go live or whatnot.
I
So
wonder if hold on, let me
that's you know you know how bots and haters do. Them bots be hating on dots, so I don't really trip on it. It's in their programming. It's in their programming.
it's
in their ones and
a
zeros.
it's the dark skin filter they got going on you. Is that what it is?
That smooth chocolate. that almond toffee.
yeah, I hear you. I've been trying to give my kids lessons on when
right there.
like when they start getting in middle school and high school. Like I never had a problem. Like the people didn't really pick on me very much in school. And if they did, they didn't for very long. But mostly I just never had a problem. Like nobody really ever had a big issue with me. I tried to figure out like what was it that I did that kept people from like fucking with me a lot. And I think it was that I just didn't give a fuck. like you know what I mean? Like
that is
like
honestly that's it. You just can't care.
If I wanted to play basketball, I played basketball. If I wanted to be on the chess team, I joined the chess team. You know, like if I wanted to do student council, I did it. And I really didn't give a fuck if anybody liked it or not. So I tried to tell them, just do what you're going to do.
Yeah. It's the reaction that a person gives off that either a person continues to mess with you,
right,
or they stop.
Right.
Like
I agree.
I was actually that bully in middle school, because I hung out with a whole bunch of other bullies. It was mandatory to stay in the group. You had to bully somebody. So I had to find somebody who was smaller than me that I bullied. And then there was this kid, and I started messing with him, and calling him stupid. He's like, "Yep, I guess I'm stupid," and and he just like that. And I was, and I kept on him. You walk with a limp. Mama's so big, the whole bit, And he was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, okay, whatever you say." And I like had no steam. Like you slowly just kind of run out of steam.
Yeah.
You don't have that pushback or that you're having any kind of effect, and you're like, well, crap.
No, that's definitely true. Because I told him you have two options that always work for me. Either knock the shit out of them, which always worked for me, even if I got my ass whooped afterwards. That always works. Or just don't give a fuck. And both of those, there were some times when, like I said, like it was like I wanted to join the chess team and they tried to make fun of me. I was like, I don't, it's not embarrassing to me. I don't give a fuck, And so nobody made fun of me because it didn't work. And then, if somebody called my mama fat, I punched them in the face and they stopped doing that shit. The girls didn't seem all that excited about the punch them in the face thing, which is probably good for me. But I would say they both worked every time, nobody ever said shit after either one.
Everybody looked in, they like, we're going to check with mom, aren't we?
Well, I said, look, you do what you want to do and you ask whoever you want to ask. But I'm just saying, I did pretty well throughout like grade school, middle school, high school, college. I was never in the group that got picked on. Let's put it that way. So,
That's your question, Adam.
Yeah.
You're pretty smart at this stuff. For my first home, should I look at a house that's 300 100,000, 3 bedrooms. When I
No.
you said no,
No.
Well,
no, don't do it.
I guess
Okay,
it's
all right.
possible. I just completely do not understand your annual income, but if,
I mean,
I would suggest probably not. I don't. I have two moderately decent incomes, and my house was not worth anywhere near that amount. So
Yeah,
I
I
guess
actually,
probably not.
it's
I
about
went
five,
that route.
about 5 years, 5, 6 years paying it off. Maybe
Oh
7.
yeah, nice. Yeah, with the idea that like you don't spend money on anything else. Is that
$0, no food, no electricity,
yeah?
not even air. If they
It
start
was
charging
you
for
know
air, it's a wrap.
before I had life experience. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't think I wasn't going
Yeah.
to spend money on anything else, but
Nah.
I was like, man, well, why don't people pay shit off? Like, if you paid the shit you had to pay, you can pay shit off like so much quicker.
Real
It's
quick,
because nobody's
fast.
gonna spend just the money they have to fucking spend. That's why. Like you're like, oh,
I can. I grew up. I was one of the last people to get a cell phone. I hated a cell phone. Like people had cell phones. I had a pager, but my thing was I didn't like nobody just being able to contact me right out of thin air. Like if I wasn't at home, I'm not at home. My father taught me, I have a answer machine, a voice message. If I don't pick up the phone, that means I don't feel like talking. So leave a message. And when I
I
decide
still
to
do
listen to
that.
that
I
message,
just do it on my cell
I'm
phone.
old school. Yeah, my phone is actually about to explode right now. It's the battery exploded in the case, so I'm gonna get another one on Friday.
No, look, I don't care about my cell phone died last week, I think, and I'm waiting for. Luckily, man, let me tell you, this is a story worth telling. Okay, so like, I want to say not this previous Thursday, but the Thursday before that, right? So like a week and a half ago, which it already seems like it's been a fucking millennium, but my fucking water resistant fucking iPhone fell in the fucking shower, okay? And it had the case on it, and it wasn't even submerged. Like there was like the tiniest bit of water that had built up in the bathtub. And so like, the water line was like water resistant. What the fuck? Did somebody turn some sound on or something? I got an echo.
What, me?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, like the water line was like not even like let's say a third of the way up the phone for like 2 seconds, right? I pulled the shit out of the thing. It's not even like the case is wet. The phone barely fucking got wet. Like barely fucking got wet. I turned the fucking thing off, put it in fucking rice like you're supposed to, right? The phone works. The screen is fucked, right? Which can't do anything without the fucking screen because there's literally 3 fucking buttons on the phone. I can't even power. You realize that I gotta say, Apple, not being able to turn off your phone without the fucking screen is a stupid ass fucking feature. Okay, like what the fuck are you thinking? There's a power button that doesn't turn the goddamn phone off. Like what the fuck is that? It turns it on. To turn it off, you have to hold the volume and the power button down, wait for the screen to come up, and then use the screen to turn it off. If you just continue to hold the buttons, it calls 911. Like, what the fuck is that?
Now, what's your emergency?
Shit I've ever seen.
My phone won't turn off.
Yeah, my phone was dropped in some water, and I'm looking for some rice.
Yeah, I'm like, exactly. Sorry,
That's
guys.
so funny,
Apple's
bro.
fucking retarded. I didn't mean to call you. Like, I don't know what else to fucking say. But it's so stupid. I'm trying to turn this shit off so I don't fry the fucking phone. I can't do it. Like, I can't. Like, I had to wait for the fucking battery to go out on the motherfucker.
His glasses is
like I like the idea that like from your pocket you know what I mean, like it'd be hard to dial 911 on your screen. It's not the wrong idea, but make it like the other fucking volume. But you know what I mean, like why it shouldn't be that power and dial 911, power off and dial 911 are the same fucking button configuration. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just fucking retarded.
I guess they do it, if somebody they're thinking of the way the world is now with all types of shenanigans and calamity going on. They're like, oh well, let's make this feature where if you hold the buttons down, it'll just dial 911. That's random, but
And
okay.
I get that. I'm saying
It's like we live in South Central Compton. Like I can't send you no signal, but I'm just gonna hold these buttons down, locate, help, and find me. Like who's
right.
programmed to think that level of danger? Like,
But I'm not even saying I disagree with that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think
that's
the
funny.
idea is like, let's say somebody's fucking with you or something. You want to be able to stick your hand in your pocket and not have to like slide the screen open and go. Like I get that, right? Like it's nice that there's a button you can push down, and it's smart that it's not one button, so that if you like slouch over, you're not calling 911 on a regular fucking basis, which by the way was their original fucking design, and I did call 911 like 3 fucking times on that stupid phone.
That like is that a known thing when you buy a phone that you can do that? I mean, that you buy an iPhone that does call 911?
Don't drunk dial them motherfuckers.
I mean, it's hard. Like, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, you hold the buttons down, a screen comes up that's like, turn off your phone. There's another couple of things I don't ever look at.
Restart,
and then
dial 911.
Then down at the bottom it says dial 911, and if you don't let go of the buttons, then you see it start counting. The bottom thing it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so that you know that it's doing it. I'm telling you, like. That all that is really fucking smart. I think. Like I like that idea. You can call from your pocket. You don't have to know what you're doing.
Situation.
It should just be there should just be 2 different buttons that you hold down to turn the fucking phone on. Or why can't I just hold the one power button down for a certain amount of time to turn the fucking phone off? I mean, that seems pretty fucking simplistic.
You can.
No, you can't.
You want to know how you can? You get a different phone.
Yeah, well. Anyways, okay. So now that we've gone over the fucking powering down
old
thing,
Motorola.
so I'm like, I got to do something, right? I need to figure this shit out, and I fucking drive over to the AT&T store, which I've looked up on a different fucking phone because. Yeah, I use my goddamn phone. I don't call people, but I use it for a lot of other shit all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like I turn my lights off and on. I fucking adjust my thermostat. I fucking bake on it. I fucking watch.
Little fancy ass. That's why.
Like, all the TV I watch is
fancy,
on my phone. I can't like. I've been watching TV on my TV. It annoys the shit out of me. I'm like constantly turning the volume up and then down because it's too fucking loud. And I hate it. I fucking hate it.
You know what that is, right? It's the phone is the
man.
It's
the man hates you, and he's want to make your life difficult. It's like, oh, you want to watch TV on your phone? It's a TV. Use your phone for your phone. Your TV for your TV.
No, here's the real issue. The main reason I hate it, when I get up to go to the bathroom, or like when my kids need me to go downstairs and make them some food, or I need to take out the trash, or all this shit that I can't do in front of my fucking TV, that's never an issue. I pick up my fucking phone and I go do that shit, and I get to keep watching my shit. It's fucking the best thing the phone has ever done for me, is allow me to take my fucking entertainment anywhere I want to all the fucking time. It's great.
So let me address the elephant. Let me address the elephant in the room. I'll address the elephant in the room. Is your phone not vaccinated?
Well, that's why I bought Apple, you know, less viruses.
That's the real concern, because your phone is now affecting your television, your toaster, and your refrigerator, because your phone is not vaccinated.
It's from water, and it was supposed to be. God damn it! That's
Was the screen?
I told him. I said, "Why the fuck is my water-resistant phone? I didn't even drop it. It's not like I went swimming with
vaccinated
phone
is water resistant.
It got like the smallest amount of water you could buy. Like I don't know that you can call it even water resistant if you like drop an eyedropper on her and the fucking screen goes out. You know what I mean? Like what amount of water is it resistant to is what I'm asking at this point.
We got to read the manual.
Like,
it'll tell you.
They're like, you can sweat and it's not going to break your phone. Anything above and beyond that, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like
if you type in the word water, if you type in the word water on your phone,
exactly.
your screen cracks.
Don't use any rain emojis. It might fuck your shit up. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I fucking drive up. I get to the Apple store like 3 minutes before they close, and they let me in, and they're like, "Oh, we can't help you. That would take too long." And I'm like, "What? Well, we closed. We're already closed." And I'm like, "No, you're not. I'm using the time from my AT&T phone that says you guys don't close for 4 more minutes. I got here before you." Yeah, but that would take, like, switching out the phones would take like 20 or 30 minutes. Okay. Well, we close in like 4 minutes. I'm like, so what? Like, that's not how fucking stores work.
Yeah. You get in the door.
That's how their store works.
Then they got to do this shit. And they're like, no, that if it was something that would we already turned the registers up. Turn the bitches back on. I don't like, you shouldn't have turned them off before you fucking close. How is any of this my fucking problem? Right. So I'm getting all pissed off. We'll come back tomorrow. I work tomorrow. Right. You know, well,
how's that our problem?
Right. So they're like, oh, I tell you what, there's a store down the street. They're open till 9. I'm like, why the fuck are we even having this conversation then? Right. So I get in the car, drive there.
That.
They're not open. They close at 8 too. I'm like, the lying little bitches.
Pulled the Seattle Shuffle. He pulled the Kansas City Shuffle on you.
I'm like, they're like, man, we've always closed at 8. I don't know why they told you that shit. So I'm like, these bitches. Man. So then finally that dude is like, there's a corporate store on Wurzbach. That one is open to, I'm like, for real? And he's like, no, for sure. It definitely is. I'm like, all right. So I drive all the way to that motherfucker. They're open. Right, I come in and I'm like talking to the dude who is the nicest. I'm like extremely fucking helpful, like literally trying. He's like laying out every possible fucking option. You know, we could get you a fucking prepaid. You know, like anything he can think of as to what my options are for having a fucking phone, right? And I was like, you know, I went to this other store just out of curiosity. Like I got there 3 minutes before they closed. They told me they weren't allowed to help me. He's like, oh, no. That's definitely not our policy. Is if you got here before we closed, it wouldn't have mattered if what you needed took 2 hours. Like we're supposed to fucking help you. I was like, I know the bitches were lying. I knew that shit. They just want to fucking go home.
Hey.
Well, fucking.
Hey, did you
anyways,
did you pull up on him after? You go back the next day, be like, say, homie.
I thought about it.
I thought y'all was closed that time, huh?
Like 7:58 and being like, hey, I need you to completely go over my family plan with me. And if you tell me you can't do it, it's gonna take too long. I'm just gonna call the corporate office line and explain to them what's going on, see what they have to say about it, and then just sat there till like 10 o'clock. Like, you know, what's your manager? Just help me, you fucking uppity bitch, you know? Like, this is good. We didn't have to have it, you know?
Is this in North Star or what?
No, it was, there's one like on Bulverde.
Oh, right.
And,
they're uppity there too.
So, anyways, long story short.
If I go in there, they're going to be like, sir, take my wallet. Wait, what?
No,
at him 12 suspect.
So the only downside is I have to wait. The plan, like, so he sold me $40 insurance plan, but I have to.
That's why he stayed over. Finna get this bread with my Birdman hands.
$40. I mean, shit. Almost everything AT&T does cost more than $40 fucking dollars. But $40.
So sold you a insurance plan after you needed the insurance plan?
I used to have to wait 30 days to file a claim.
Nice.
So in 30 days, what's that?
You have to pay $100?
It's like, I think it's like $200.
Damn.
But I mean, the phone is like $800, $900 or some shit.
No, I mean, it works out if you pay, if it breaks within the first month or two. But if you pay for a full year,
well, you're right. So here I'm trying to decide whether to keep it, because I will say this: not only protects everything I have on my plan, which is also like an iPad that I'm gonna get replaced for like a couple $100. I'm gonna get my phone replaced for a couple $100. I'm gonna get both of my kids' screens fixed for like 60, not $30 each, like $60 total to get both of their phones fixed. And then you can add like 4 or 5 things that don't have anything to do, like laptops. Like if you have a pad that isn't on your plan, you can add that to the register that onto the insurance plan. It's like you can't do TVs and appliances, but like any other like piece of technology that you have, I can put my earbuds on there if I want to. Like,
and it stays $40.
$40 a month for all of that shit. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure that in 30 days I'm gonna get so for like let's see, $440 plus 60 is what, $560, right? I'm gonna get a brand new iPad, a brand new cell phone, and 2 screens fixed. And that would, I mean, the screens on my kids' phone, like I would have just bought them new phone. It wouldn't even have made sense to get them fixed. Like the cost of the screen is more than what I can buy their fucking phone for on eBay or fucking Craigslist. You know what I mean? So that would have been for both their phones. That was going to cost me $200. Then my phone, I wouldn't have had to pay for it up front. But that's the whole thing with AT&T is they stopped giving. Not only do you not get like the free upgrade, they don't even give you the discount anymore. You just get to, once you've paid off your phone, they allow you to fucking add it to your monthly bill again at full fucking. I mean, you're paying full fucking price every time. Like,
But you get a trade in though, right? You still get a trade in though, right?
That's the most fucking. So that was another reason why I wanted to do this, because the back of the phone that they're gonna replace for me has cracks in the glass, which matters jack shit to the phone. You know what I mean? Like if you have a case on it, you wouldn't even know that exists, right? But that would keep you from trading it in, right? I mean, if the corners are dinged up too much, or you have any fucking crack anywhere, if anything's wrong with the phone, you don't get to trade it in. Who the fuck 2 years after they buy a phone has nothing wrong with their fucking phone? You know what I mean? Like only people that don't use their fucking phone and ain't gonna upgrade it in 2 years anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking bullshit. Like I guarantee you,
go Samsung.
I guarantee you, like less than 10% of people are getting to use their phones to upgrade it. But that's the other thing, right? Is on top of getting to replace it for $200, when I want to, now I'll have the like $900 the phone is worth to put towards the new phone, and my new phone will only cost me like $100 or something like that, as opposed to the new phone costing me $1,000 fucking dollars. You know what I mean? Which is what I was going to do. Like I was just going to get the new fucking phone and put it on my bill, because luckily it's only like an extra $25 a month or some shit, but like for 2-3 years, like, and you end up paying full fucking price for the fucking thing. It's like I give AT&T like $300 a fucking month every goddamn month. They can't even give me a credit towards a goddamn phone. I mean, I get that they're much more expensive than they used to be, right? I understand that they can't give you a $5 a month insurance plan and just replace the phone for you for free. Like, I understand it's a business. I'm not a fucking idiot. But like, those phones that they used to replace for $5 a month were worth something. Like, I mean, like it was costing them like $150 at least to buy that phone. They could at least give me that fucking credit. They could give me the discount that they get from AT&T from Apple based on the fact that they buy 8 billion phones a year. You know what I mean? Like they're not losing money by not charging me full price for a goddamn phone. You know what I'm saying? Like that's ridiculous. They're making a buttload of money on top of the goddamn monthly rate. Like what the fuck happened to the whole idea that like we want to make sure you're in a phone so that we can charge you a shitload of money every month? That used to be the fucking thing, Now they're like, why can't we charge you a shitload of money every month and then also make like $400 selling you a fucking phone that we didn't make? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some bullshit. So anyways, luckily it's probably better that threw me out, because I got a sneaky suspicion that had I made him sit there for an extra hour, they would not have been like, oh, let me save you a fuck ton of money with by purchasing a $40 insurance plan. Yeah, I'm sure that would not have gone well. So anyways, it's all going to work out pretty well, except for the fact I got to go 30 days without my fucking phone. And like, the truth of the matter is, I mean, like, if I absolutely had to, I could figure all this shit out, but it's just not worth it for 30 days. Like, I have 8 email accounts that my phone has all the passwords to, that goes and checks my email all the time for me. I'd have to go into every single one of those motherfuckers and figure out what my password is, despite the fact that I can't check any of my fucking email, right? So I'm like, I have to figure out how to get the password, despite the fact that they can't email me the fucking replacement password if I don't know what it is, right? So that's gonna be a bitch. And same thing with like Facebook, like, you know, I don't want to download so what I have an old phone that I use to get calls and texts on. So I put my SIM card in it, and then, but it's a piece of shit that barely fucking works. It won't do anything except that. And then, but for whatever reason, one of my kids loves this phone, so she plays with that phone, and I use her phone to do not all the shit I want to do, but at least I can like fucking watch Netflix and shit on it, you know.
Yeah.
And I can't check my emails. When I get my new phone back, I'm gonna have like 8,000 fucking emails. That was gonna be, yeah, that's gonna suck. And it's been 2 weeks since I've looked at Facebook. We got a bunch of new followers and, you know, people like liking it and fucking sharing it. And so thanks everybody for that. I didn't get to see any of that shit until I logged into the computer that I only log in to do the show, because everything else I'm able to do from my phone or was able to do from my phone. I mean, you know, I think I can say I honestly feel like I have the right appreciation for the phone. Like, I'm not losing sleep over it or like jonesing for my fucking phone or anything. It's like a lot of the shit that I did used to be a whole lot more convenient, and it's annoying that it's not as convenient anymore. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think that's a reasonable response to, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna live without being able to check Facebook every 5 seconds? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, man, it'd be really nice to take a shit and be able to watch Hulu at the same fucking time. I can't do that, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's about, you know, like, I wish I didn't have to get up to check my thermostat like I didn't used to have to anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think it's a pretty reasonable reaction. I mean, I think the fact that I didn't just agree to pay $800 extra to have the phone a week ago as opposed to 30 days from now is a pretty good sign that, you know, I have a reasonable attachment to my cell phone. I don't think most people would have waited 30 days to get their phone replaced. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I've always felt like I'm in the generation that's like technology, like we use it for what it was, like for the potential that people saw it for. You know what I mean? Like people much, you know, 10 years, 15 years older than me, like use it because they have to and wish they didn't. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't mean everybody, right? But just, you know, and people younger, 10 years younger than me would die if they had to wait 30 days without a fucking phone. You know what I mean? Like they can't go 5 seconds without checking Facebook, which for what? I don't like. I understand, you know, like the idea of wanting something really bad, but I just like, it's all such pointless shit that they can't live without seeing for 5 minutes. Like, what the fuck? Did somebody like my picture? Like, I mean, I hate to sound like the fucking parents that don't get it, but it's like, how the fuck does any of that matter that much to you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get
Attention
it.
and acceptance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, that definitely is what it is. You know, but god damn, it's a stupid way to get it. Like, did somebody like the picture of my breakfast is a fucking dumbass way to like decide who's cool or not, you know?
Those influencers or whatever, like it was on television. It's this girl out of Australia that everybody watches her do like damn near everything all day long. Yeah. And they actually interviewed the dad, and the dad let her drop out of school and let her do this 100% of the time. Yeah. And at first I was kind of like, whatever, but
do you know how much money they're making, man? They're making hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
Exactly. He said that's what he had to do, that he had to really understand that his daughter was actually making like 200 grand a year.
Right. And why should anything else matter? Like having a fucking life, getting an education, living a life of purpose and content.
Most people educate themselves.
Yeah, but how is that different than Justin Bieber?
Most people educate themselves, like for whatever the case may be, but take somebody to make 200,000. They go to college, get these degrees, end up in debt, spend a lifetime doing it.
Well, again, I think
just to get that 200,000, when somebody is like, follow me around, and now I'd have made 200,000, and I have to, what? It's a win to these people. You
gotta realize this girl.
And some people work a full job and never even see that amount of money.
Did she drop out of college?
No.
She dropped out of school, right? She didn't even have a basic education. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm educated.
She got basic bread though.
But that's the thing. Education is not like that. That's a look. I understand the argument of college costs a lot of money and a lot of people don't make that much more. Like I get that argument, but looking at education is solely as a purpose to make money is like looking at life is solely as a purpose to make money. Like that's not the only reason to educate yourself.
No. I agree with you. And yesterday I had lunch with a buddy of mine, right? And he had he came in from Houston to visit me, have lunch. And we're talking. Now, mind you, I've known him since high school. I know his history, his background. He's worked. He got 2 masters. He worked he worked there,
okay.
in the I guess the H building, possibly.
Okay.
Whatever it is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right. He worked there for a number of years. But I know, where he comes from. Never into, the drug game, whatnot, whatever the case may be. Only worked, got his degrees, did the straight line path. And I was so proud of him because, his house that he just purchased is technically it's an estate now. He has 1.5 acres. And he was like, I'm aiming for $1 million. And I was like, that's cool. Well, he's in a healthy race between him and his brother for $1 million. And this is all legitimate.
Yeah.
And he's worked, degrees, the whole 9. Not like to say, boop, I've reached it, but to actually have it to where and I asked him, I said, well, how far are y'all, in this race? What are you looking at, a 5-10 year span? He's like, no, I'm probably about 1.5 years, maybe 2 from it. I was like, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to realize, man, I know when we were children, I knew how he grew up, multiple people in one small place, homeless at times, to now know that we're around the same age and he can say that I have $1 million cash.
Man, as much
not just, but when you look at it, like I know people who also are in that same financial air from other things, right? So I have 2 people. The dollar's the dollar, no matter how you achieve it. What goes into people like the young lady that's barely out of high school or dropped out of high school, she's looking at that factor. I have enough education to obtain this amount of financial success. Now, whether she chooses to pick up education later in life, she can. But we all work for the money. There's no, and I used to ask people, I said, if you won the lottery tomorrow, would you still do this job that you have today? All of them would say no.
Right.
I won the lottery. Why would I?
That's most people. I mean, very few people do what they want to do.
Right. So when you think about it, you only work for the money. So if she's doing something in life to where she's obtaining a level of financial success that most people will be born and die and never even see.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that part of it, but will she though? Because my guess is that the influence.
She's already making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
But for how long? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Like, I know this shit hasn't been around very long, but like we've seen other things like it in the past. And the truth is, most of these influencers that are making all this money, it's gonna last like 4 or 5 years, and then people are gonna get bored with them. They don't have any real fucking talent. Like, you know what I mean? People, especially
that was part of the show was that, and that's actually he'd mentioned.
Yeah, their talent is like like how to get on Facebook. When people don't like you anymore, that shit doesn't matter anymore.
No, okay, wait up, let me talk. That was actually part of the show, is that yes, she quit school and she was doing it and she was doing pretty good, but she also had like the anxiety that comes along with it, the anxiety of having to make that cash and be good enough to keep that cash rolling in and keep her lifestyle the way she wants it. She's 16 years old and having to deal with that kind of shit. You know,
not only that, but like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not these people, these
now
kids.
15 working at Six Flags, making like $8 an hour, $6 an hour.
Right, because you had to do it. Like, she doesn't. No,
I did it to start working because I knew that I'm going to have to start working in my life in order to pay my bills. Yeah, she's doing the same things.
You didn't drop out of school. You got an education. Look, I'm not saying I have I got a job when I was 12, but I went to school. Could I have people watching me all day, every day doing that shit? No, but I'm telling you right now, like, knowing what I know today, if you told me when I was 12, I could have gotten a job as a janitor making $8 an hour, or I could have started a career that lasted 5 years where I was making even like $1 million a year. Like, come on, like, you really think, like, obviously that's enough money that if you were a well-developed, educated person, you could make that shit last forever and do whatever you want to do. You really think that most of these kids are going to live that life? Like, that $4 million they make is going to last them until the day they fucking die?
It could, bro. It could.
I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm saying, how many of them do you think that'll actually happen with, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
most of them are gonna blow the fucking money. It's like childhood actors. Do some of them do okay? Sure. 98% of them end up ODing or getting locked up.
And not to like, well, yeah, the NFL
money is coming faster and easier for a lot of people now than it did when we grew up.
Sure. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Money could drop out of you can be homeless with $2 Wednesday and be a multi-millionaire in 2 months. That's just the way the earth is now.
I think that's
so they don't
always been the way it is, just for different reasons. But
it's more probable now.
Maybe that's true. I don't know. I mean, because there's also like a fuck ton more people, right? I mean, everybody's trying to become an influencer. What's the percentage of people that actually break through and make any real fucking money? And I bet you it's 0.00 something percent. You know what I mean? But
it's like the NFL. It's like the NFL. Sure, look how many people play high school football.
But you can't get in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people in the NFL don't have a college degree? You know what I'm saying? Like, we despite all that talent,
there's quite a few that don't have a college degree. There's quite a few that don't have a college degree. They go to college, but they don't always get a degree.
That's true. That's true. But at least they have a high school degree. I'm just saying,
it's uncommon to have a college degree in the NFL.
It's less common now. Now you're allowed to like get, I think it's like what is it, a bachelor's, the 2 year, you have to have like two years worth of credits before you can. There's a certain amount of credits, college credits, you have to have.
Yeah, year
worth. You can
2 years. 2 years.
Speaking of which, my daughter's in 11th grade. She's getting her college credits now.
I don't think most of them do. I know. I mean, I know a decent amount of them do, but a lot of players use the 4 years of college to become better players so that they can be better by the time they get drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think like a mass percentage of them are like so talented that, 2 years after they graduate high school, they're going into the NFL.
That's true.
I mean, a lot of players go all 4 years.
I could have, but I broke my coccyx at the dunes on the 4-wheeler.
Sorry, this just sounded funny. My point is, there was a system that didn't
Why did the
allow
thing put
for you
the
to
bad
drop
right-
out
the hip bone? I said,
in middle school and go play football. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you wouldn't be big enough, but I'm just saying, like, in a lot of shit, we have said, like, look, we're not okay with you just like completely, centering your entire fucking life around the idea that this is going to somehow fulfill you from now until the day you die, because it probably won't. I mean, even like successful actors don't act forever. Successful musicians,
they technically center their life around it as far as a source of income. She's just doing it at an early age.
Without
she's lighting her candle right now
that come from
later on.
The shit that you normally do, like until you become 18, 19 years old. Like, that's what I'm saying. And there is a better chance of acting for a really long time. I'm telling you, like, there's got to be a way to look up the numbers. What percentage of influencers are influencers for more than like 6 months? You know what I'm saying? Like the really, really successful ones, my guess is it's like a 4 or 5 year lifespan.
Joe Biden
at best. And
shout out Mr. Beast.
What are you gonna do after that? Like you
President business. It's Taco Tuesday, motherfuckers.
How easy it is. Like, we are creatures of habit. If you build a bad foundation of habit, that's stuck with you for the rest of your life. Like if at a very young age you teach yourself that it's okay to go to sleep whenever I want to, wake up whenever I want to, eat whatever I want to, that is not going to lead a good life. Like, that's not a good habit to get into, because when you can't make $200,000 a year influencing and you have to go get a normal fucking job, you know how hard it's going to be to like get up at 6 o'clock in the morning 5 days a week and go work for 8-10 hours straight every fucking day, because if you don't, you get fired and you can't pay the fucking bills.
But that's based on if okay, so you have to look at it like this. That's based on the anticipation that they are not going to succeed long term and also fail at being financially, stable.
Which is based on the fact that that's what happens to like 95% of people that find success at extremely young age. Like, it's like we have history.
But in the same note, so here's the outcome on that. In the same note, that's the beauty of life. They still get the lesson learned regardless. The lesson learned is you have to work or you don't eat, period.
Yeah, I guess my point is
either way it goes, they're going to learn. They're whether they learn it at 19, 20, 25, 30, or they learn it at 16, 17. No matter what the order, the lesson is still going to have to be learned regardless.
See, what the problem is with that, though, the problem is that we, in this group right now, we learned exactly the value of $1, the value of $4, $5, $6, because we work for those minimum wage jobs. But when you start out and the little shit you do brings you $1 million, then after that goes away and they say, okay, I'm gonna pay you like $30 for just doing this, or I'm gonna pay you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine how long and frustrating it's going to be for somebody to go from that life to, like, if I don't work all my hours every fucking week, I'm not going to have enough money for what I need. That's and to your point,
that's the plight of most people right now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, that's their journey right now.
Yeah.
So for people that are able to just come the whole hell up, like,
but they're not. That's my point. They're gonna come the hell up for like 5 or 10 years at best.
No matter, it's still up. Whether if there's, you got people who will never even have 1 month of that experience, never in their life. Their children, and grandchildren may never even see that level of money that this one person has seen in a year, ever.
It's like, so what though? Like, I like, maybe
you just say, hey,
comes with age, but
no, you just got to celebrate it, man.
I would much rather live a happy, content, productive life than not have any of that stuff and be like, ooh, but there was a 5-year period where I shine. I mean, like 5 years, 10 years out of a lifetime. Like, I'd much rather be happy for a lifetime.
They're like, man, ended 6, bro. And so they ran it out. They ran it out to the clock.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I understand what they're doing. Like, it's not like I don't get it. I'm saying it's not a good idea.
My only thing would be how you do that come up, whether it's helpful or hurtful to the people that you influence. You know, one of the things that I was looking at. We started
this conversation with the dad being okay with his kid dropping out of school because they're making so much money. And my point is, as parents, like nothing you're saying contradicts what I'm saying. Yes, they'll have some success for a while. Yes, it might be success that it's the only time that they'll ever have. Yes, they might learn the lesson of hard work and earning money later on in life when they can't do that anymore. As a parent, I feel like my responsibility is to do the best I can do to make sure that my kids go on to have as productive, content, and happy life as they possibly can, whatever way that needs to happen, right? And what I'm saying
that's every parent. That's the protection of being a parent. Yeah.
But that's my point, is doing something that goes against that in life is not a good idea. Like, why am I going to set my kid up to spend a giant chunk of their life unfulfilled, unhappy, and uncontent so that they can be materialistically happy for 5 or 6 years?
I mean, I want to say that, I don't know this individual to say that she's materialistically happy. What we can say is that she was able to find a groove, boom, that jackpot. She won a scratch off, right? So
which is another perfect example of people that end up living extremely miserable lives are people that win the lottery. Like 85% of them are worse off like 4 years later.
You have to then dive into what would we're fathers. So if we put ourselves in that we can say what we would do in that situation, but until we are in that situation, it's very difficult to really kind of calculate. We could just go off of our experiences. But when you look at that father could have been trying his whole life to provide for his family. And then his daughter just came up with this brilliant fucking idea, and now she's able to do it.
Yeah, but
so he's not
for my family.
Right, but he may not be able. They could have been living under a bridge or whatever the case may be. That says, okay, you know what, you can quit public school. You are obtaining a level of money to where we can hire private educators and tutors. The wealthy actually do it all the time. Public education is something that's free. You have money.
What she's doing? I mean, she's on the internet 24 hours a day.
I don't know. I'm
asking Victor. He's the one who brought it up.
I don't know. She could be. They could have a contingency plan in place to where it's like, okay,
24-hour broadcast. Do they see a lot of tutoring and private schooling going on?
Well, no, and that's kind of what he said. He said that, and he said that he thought that she could always go back to school.
Because that happens all the time too.
What he said was he expected, and he saw this career as a short-term thing. That it was. He talked to her about it. He said it was a short-term thing, and he was going to let her take advantage of this while it was going on. But as soon as it started to be unfun for her, or not, a good thing for her, that they were going to stop, and that she was going to go back to doing what she was doing before. And that was part of it, was that she was just like, she was hitting her end. She had anxiety and depression. And she said, bouts of suicidal thoughts, all sorts of stuff, because she'd read some of the shitty comments that they leave behind just to tear you down. So she was having trouble. She was having difficulties. It's not easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't like she was like, no problems at all.
Right.
But that's what it was trying to say. It was trying to show exactly what you're saying, that there's an ugly side effects to this. No privacy. Everybody has to love what you're doing. Anxiety,
Right.
Yeah,
That's my point.
that's
Look,
a heavy thing to bear.
this is my point. You're
So
saying like all these things are possible, right? It's possible for me never to wear a seatbelt and drive 100 miles an hour and nothing bad happened to me, right? But because I recognize that statistically there's a much better chance of nothing bad happened to me if I put my seatbelt on and I drive the speed limit, I try to do that, right? This
Yep.
is my point. Is I'm not saying that none of these people will end up having a better life because they made this choice. I'm sure some of them will, right? I mean, statistically, you know, what's that example? The something proves the norm. I mean,
Yeah, the exception.
the exception proves the norm,
to
right?
the
So
rule.
right. So obviously there will be some people that this works out for. It's just not going to be a very high percentage of people. As a parent, you have to look at it and say, is my kid going to be like, they're already the 1 in a million that this happened to. Now they got to be the 1 in like 50 million who not only get this chance, but it doesn't completely destroy their fucking life afterwards.
Yep.
And like, I'm not going to take the odds on that. I'd rather go what society has. Here's another. I think that this, you were talking about your friend who did it right? And I was gonna say, I
Well,
didn't get
he
a
just did
chance
it.
to.
Whether
My point, that
I
what
know
I'm
some
gonna
people that did it
try to
wrong,
say is,
but
as
yeah,
much
no, I got you.
we complain about opportunities in this country, the truth of the matter is,
He made it
if
an
you bust
opportunity.
your ass, like if you do all the things that if you look back, like if you put away distractions and focus on getting really good grades in high school, really good grades in college, and pick a degree in something that you can do and that leads to success, like you will find success. Like I'm not saying it's easy to do, but it's like losing weight, right? It's hard to do, but not because we don't know how to do it. If you eat really healthy and exercise every day, like really exercise it, which none of which is easy to do, right? But we know it works, right? The problem is it's hard. And
Yeah.
I'm not knocking
Here
people for
are
not
two
being able
issues
to
on
do
that.
it, because I have
Well,
had distractions. Hold on, I'll give you, just give me his. I've had this, so I'm not knocking people who can't do it, because I'm not saying that's what I did. I'm just saying we know if you do that, it fucking works, right? We know what works, and I'm not saying I'm training my kids to be perfect and not have any distractions, but I'm at least trying to put them on the path of most likely success, and not financial success, like most likely success in life. Find something that you're passionate about that allows you to pay your bills and support yourself, then you're going to have a happy life. Like, will you be able to buy a mansion or a fucking yacht? Probably not. But you're going to be happier than the person who can, because those things provide small amounts of short-term happiness, and it relies on you constantly being able to one up what you purchased before in order to get that happiness again. Finding content in life gives you long-lasting real happiness that you can count on every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the life I want. If my kids can find that frying french fries at McDonald's, God bless them. Like, I don't give a shit what they do. If they're happy and content, that's the best life they're ever gonna have.
well,
Sorry.
what? So here. No, you're good. Here's two things though. You have the people who follow that process of hard work and diet, exercise, whatever, and that shit never works for them. And now they've taken their whole, they've disregarded. They went down that path. They have went down that path and used their whole existence to, I'm gonna work and bust my ass and work hard, and now they're older and older, and it never folded. It never folded for them.
Right, but I would argue
that's
that
that happens.
They didn't actually do it, and not again with all the sympathy in the world, because I have been distracted as much as anybody can be distracted upon my path in life. So I'm not sitting here saying I did that. or that it's easy to do, but it's because we get distracted, right? Like in losing weight, it's hard to get up and exercise every fucking day. It's hard to give up all the foods that make you happy to eat. I haven't done that. I'm not saying.
Well, here's
There's very few people who have specific medical conditions that if they don't eat healthy food every day and do real exercise every day won't lose weight and get in shape. It's just hard to do.
So it is hard to do. I mean, but like I was I was saying, and also you stated it. There has to be those takeaways where, okay, well, they have a medical condition. That's one thing. But to focus on the point of, if you go down this path and do this without distractions, you'll have this outcome. That is a 50-50 for people.
Even though it's a 50-50. I think it might be maybe like a 90-10, because you're right. You can just have really bad luck.
But then there's the people like the young lady on the other hand who didn't even have a path mapped out. She just hit a luck streak. And either way it goes, you can't take to saying, well, she needs to come off of that path and focus on the longevity line of you need to do this, when you have, like I said, when you have people now that are doing this, and this, and they're nowhere near where she's at. So you can't prove to someone in her position that that process works.
I think it does.
Because her process is working.
Because
she may want to be able to buy a yacht.
Working now.
Working now. Just like she's getting up at 16 working now. There's another 16-year-old getting up working now, but they're not making the same type of money.
Right.
I'll give you an example.
That's only important if you decide that the money is the most important thing. I don't think it is.
Well, that's what you're working for. If you're going to a job to work, you're going to work to get a paycheck. In her case, she's not working to get a paycheck. She started something that was fun to her, and now it developed into a paycheck, and now the pressure came. That pressure comes with any job. When you're working for a paycheck, you got to make sure you do that job and maintain yourself, or you can get fired and lose your money.
So, sure, yeah, and none of that changes the fact that nobody's going to be an influencer until they're 60 years old, right? That money's not going to last her a lifetime. And I'm telling you, we can come back in 5 years and look at all the people that were influencers today, and 95% of them are going to be broke, sad, depressed motherfuckers. And I'm not.
That could be the case.
Statistically, most likely that will be the case. And since we can't tell the future, I'm not trying to put my kid on a path that's going to 95% most likely lead them to being sad and depressed all the time, is my point.
Perfect example. I'll give you.
You got to be involved, man. You got to be involved. Like
sure. So look, if you were saying that the dad said, this is something that she wants to do, she's making some money and she enjoys it. So as long as it doesn't interfere with her graduating high school, right? And doing the stuff that we've established is important for somebody to do in this household, then God bless her, right? Maybe she could have made $200,000 a year and she'll only make $50,000 a year. God forbid a 14-year-old who doesn't need a job at all is, and to your point, like, were they living under a bridge, Victor? Because I'm willing to bet they weren't, because not that that's impossible, but most of their influencers are influencers because they have access to like the all the shit that the kids like. They got the clothes and the makeup, and that's why they're influencers. And ain't nobody living under a bridge got that shit. I'm sure it happens, but it's even more rare than becoming an influencer at all is a broke person becoming an influencer. Maybe that's
so then when you think about that, then when you think about that, if she already had this accessibility to things, if she already has accessibility to these things, then it wouldn't matter her learning a lesson about the hard work, because I already got this.
She doesn't have it. Her parents have it.
Right, but her parents, her parents have it. Right, her parents have it. Now so she's here. She's able to walk in a certain air because she's up here based on what her parents have. Now she can match and bring in her own level of money. She'll never be at the common person's level.
That's not
Because
true.
even if that money falls away, she still comes from an era of wealth. If what you're saying is the criteria based on these
my kids
influences,
have all
I got all these brands, I got all these things. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not rich.
Say
My
what you're
kids
gonna
could
say.
be influencers. They have access to the things that they would need to be able to do that if they wanted to do that. I am not in a financial position to financially support me, my wife, and my 2 children until the day I fucking die because of that. I mean, like, I'm able to provide them that shit now. When they graduate and move on into life, I'm expecting them to do that themselves so that I have money to fucking retire and not fucking die under a bridge with fucking Alzheimer's. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I had this somewhat of this conversation with my buddy, and he's rich. He says he's trying to get to a wealthy point. He was talking about his neighbors and stuff. One of his next the house, 2 houses down, is like 8 bedrooms that they're building. They've been building it for like a year now. And he was saying, how his daughters like that were rich.
it's generational wealth.
Right.
Is that what you're gonna say?
Well, no, just you could be first generational wealthy. Like, you can set yourself in a place to where you're wealthy moving forward, but
that's not what generational wealth is. Generational wealth means he wants to make enough money, not just for him, but for future generations.
But we also talked about the factor of how he was saying that, he does not want his children to have that mindset. Well, yeah, we're rich.
Right.
He wants them to actually, because he's worked hard.
Yeah.
He's worked hard, but he wants his children to kind of have that, get outside, get your hands dirty. You know what I'm saying? Work. I can pay for anything I want to be done. That's like, he knows that. People treat him in that fashion. And it's like, well, go get this done. Why are you outside painting your house? Why are you being, doing these things when you can just pay for someone to do it? Because he comes from a place to where I need to stay grounded in that. Now,
it's more than that. I don't think it's just a matter of staying grounded. I don't think kids who live an entire life of just being taken care of live happy, fulfilled lives. That's not a good life to live. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is we have.
Well, what you do is you minimize the things that they can experience when you have a base a certain financial base, right?
You teach them that all happiness comes from what you can fucking buy. As opposed to actually going out and living a life experience. And
so let me give you an experience.
It's a really shallow, unfulfilling life.
Yep.
You can turn the lights off in your house. Tell the kids won't have electricity to show them like what life is about without electricity. You go to the breaker. Boom, we don't have electricity, you guys. This is what you got to learn and do because we don't have electricity. Then you can talk to the kids who actually don't have electricity. There's no option to learn the lesson. They live in it. There's a difference. That kid still has a safety net to where they know, like, oh, we're doing this exercise to where, all right, I don't have electricity. I know I got to be able to do this and prepare for that. But then you talk to a kid without electricity, it's not as I come home and I light candles during this time. I keep my blinds open during this time, and
I was about to say you got to be real careful because that's that like what is it touristing, where like those people like, and it really kind of bugs me, especially when they only do it for like a week or something. But they have these like podcasts or little things or whatever where they go and be homeless for a week. Like shit. I can be in the forest for a week and not know what it's like to live in a forest. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the thing is,
to do it for a year. Those guys, all right, I'm down.
It's a bigger thing than that, right? Like what you guys are talking about is the lesson of having money and not having money. And my point is, in order to lead a content, happy, successful life, it's not about either one of those things, right? It's about understanding the experience of life regardless, right? And so there are
That's
plenty
going to
of
be
people
self-based though.
who have tons of money, right? Their kids benefit from that, right? But they teach their kids to go on and have a life of their own, right? Those kids have money their whole life, right? And they're still happy and content and successful because they haven't just been like, oh, I have whatever I want. I don't need to do or accomplish or participate or give back or do anything, right? That's where the shit gets fucked up. I'm not saying you can have money your whole life, lots of it, and be very happy and very content and very successful as long as you're participating in the life experience, right? And lots
You
of
could not
parents
have money and still have that same feeling of,
absolutely,
like the Bob
absolutely,
Marley concept of wealth and
absolutely.
riches, you know,
Exactly. It's the
yeah.
understanding that it's not the money and the shit that can buy that is what brings you happiness and content, right? It makes life easier, which is why it's a good thing to have those things, right? Especially, I mean, there's a study, and I don't know exact, but like there's a huge study that says once people reach a level of success in life where they're not constantly worrying about how they're going to pay for shit, like how much money they make and how successful they become doesn't really become that important anymore, right? It's like I can pay my bills, I can eat, I can send my kids to the doctor, they can go to college, my car breaks down, I can fix it, right? I'm not rich, right? But you know, I'm not going to be living under a bridge when I die, you know, when I can't work anymore, right? Just like a level of success to where you're not worried about money. Not that you have it all and can buy anything you want, right? But you just aren't thinking about how am I going to get by every single day? And when you get to that point in life, how much money you make, it's not like it doesn't matter. It's not like you don't want nice things if you can achieve
Yeah,
it.
you can
But
move around with it. You have
right,
it.
but it just doesn't become important. You have an opportunity to slow down and recognize this isn't actually what's important in life, right? Like spending time with my family, enjoying new experiences, learning about new experiences, educating myself, doing shit, giving back, all of a sudden becomes so much more important when money isn't all the focus in your head. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people don't ever have an opportunity to get to that point. And I'm not trying to sit here and say people who don't, oh, you're a fuck up and you failed in life. It's hard to do. I'm not suggesting otherwise. Like it's not easy to get there, and there's a lot of people trying to get there, and right now not enough resources for everybody to reach that, right? So everybody just isn't going to get there, right? But it's not about the money, and that's my whole point, is teaching somebody at an extremely young age
But
that
to a
giving up.
degree, it is about the money, because the path and trajectory you're on as far as educating yourself is to try to obtain money.
That's just what we're teaching people.
The
That doesn't mean that it's
balance,
right.
the easiest way, along with a pinch of being happy about it. You know, it's about the money. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't build your house with your bare hands. You don't till the land for your food. Like until you are at that $0 base to where you can survive without having to pay for something, it is about the money. You
I
know,
disagree.
whether you have
I don't know about
$10 or $1 billion,
necessarily
it's
about the
going to be
money.
about the money,
I
I don't
don't.
think it's
or
necessarily about the
achieving it
money.
the easiest way possible.
I
There's a
think it's about
difference between.
I
Go
think
ahead.
it's about the security, not necessarily the
Right.
money.
That's my
It's like
point.
the ability to pay, to
That's a
pay
better
your
word.
bills,
Okay.
the ability
Yes.
to keep your lights on, keep the fans turning, keep
Exactly.
your family fed. I mean, it's not necessarily the money. I mean, the money is what brings security,
Allows it. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
allows
Thank
it to
you. Thank
happen,
you.
but it's really that security, man. That's because when you don't have that, it's hard. It's
That's the lesson.
every
That
day is
right.
fearful.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make is we have developed into a society that teaches you that it is about the money and it is about how nice of shit and how much shit you can buy. And we have not been
Bro.
teaching people that it's about living a happy, content life, right? And yes, often it requires some money to do that, right? But that's not why you're doing, like you're not doing it. I mean, think of all the people who just stack money right? They
Yeah.
stack it and
Yeah.
stack it and stack it and stack it and aren't going to
Dive.
touch, right? They're not going to touch 90% of it, right? But to them, the idea of stopping to stack it, that's insanity, right? I mean, I can still be making money. Why shouldn't I be making money? Because it's not about making as much money as you possibly can. Now, look, if you want to continue to make money because you're doing shit with that money, right? Like you have I have there's fucking rich people that are going to space. There's rich people. Bill Gates made a fuck ton of money and then used almost all of it to like fund shit and come up with shit and make the world a better fucking place. Good on you, right?
His
He
contribution to
understands.
Africa has been amazing.
That's somebody who has made almost more money than anybody else and never
I'm
gave
so
a shit about it.
sometimes.
But you see what I'm saying? I don't think that man ever cared about how much money he made. He cared about what he could do with the money he was making. Right? That's a
so
different.
in a sense of what can you do with the money that you're making? The base of that is I care about the money I'm making because it
I don't
applies
agree.
to what I can do. It's like I want to do this. It takes money. Got to get that money because I want to do this.
There's, I think, a
So it's about the
fine.
money in order to do this.
There's,
I can't fulfill this without money. I can say I want to build a house off of love. Don't work that way. It's the money.
Nobody's suggesting otherwise. But
I
what
know,
we're talking about here is a kid who we have no reason to believe would not be able to go out and make a reasonable amount of money and live a happy and productive life. And we're saying that the ability to make a fuck ton more for a short period of time is worth taking a huge risk of sacrificing happiness and content so that for a very short period of time they can fucking make it rain. Like that's my issue with it.
You got people that's been working for 20, 30.
What does that have to do with
years,
this person?
Like
that, you know what I'm saying?
I'm in an era of celebrating. I'm in an era of celebrating this young lady. Unfortunately, she's going through a level. Okay, put it like this, right? We come out of a pandemic, and all of these kids. I sit down. My daughter's 17. She's this young lady's age. Well, she's 16. She'll be 17 in January. She's in their generation right now, and I talk with them about what's going on. You remember we was 17, 16, 17, 18, we was running the streets. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have this stuff that we had to deal with. Like, you know what I'm saying? We knew the world was big. We had no idea. You know what I'm saying? But we're looking at them at this age with the same type of shit that we went through, but they're having like, all of them are on some medication for anxiety or some type of like shit, bro. Yeah. So they can't even function. They're having to function in the same frequency as adults, and they don't even know half the shit that we know, but they're exposed to all of the shit that we're exposed to.
And you think teaching them that they need a job making $200,000 a year at 14 is going to help with that?
But it's not about teaching them that. It's not about teaching them that.
I think it is. I think we're teaching them the wrong shit, to your point.
I don't think they're teaching them that. I think what they're telling them, I think what they're learning is that they can obtain the same level of wealth given the platforms that they use every day that the older people work their whole line for in life and never obtain. It's like it's an equal playing field. You could be 16 with $1 million, or you could be 40 with $1 million. Either way it goes, you have $1 million. And I got there quicker.
Much rather be a 40-year-old with $1 million than 16 with $1 million. Because
I don't know, man.
Earning that,
bro. If I had 16 and $1 million, I'd be on my full Kanye. You couldn't tell me nothing.
You'd be nowhere.
I would be. And where am I at right now? Nowhere. Where are we all?
No,
nowhere.
That's not true.
All of us are nowhere technically.
Inside, I'm not. I'm living a very happy, content life.
But
and you giving me $1 million wouldn't make it much happier than it is right now.
The point of nowhere is like I explained to my buddy.
And I definitely wouldn't be where I am today if I'd made $1 million when I was 16. I can guarantee you that.
Listen, okay, well then that's going to be based on your line of thought.
But it's not. That's the thing. You're trying to take this really tiny percentage of people that things go well for and say That's probably what's going to happen. Only it's not. We know it's not.
I use the metaphor of space to kind of explain to my buddy about things. When you look at like, when you really drive in areas with like wealthy houses and, you know, mansions, multiple mansions, everybody in that spot has mansions, right? That may be one or out of three of their home, one of four, one of three, but they're big ass mansions for real. Like they own them. That's theirs, right? Multiple, not just one. Like, hey, I made one mansion. No, I have multiple, right? That path, that spot of nowhere, space is nowhere. Every star is in space, and every star shines. You see my point? It's the metaphor. Wherever you're at is nowhere to anyone, but to you. To you, you're somewhere. That's based on what's valuable to you.
But
what's your lesson to you?
You're a
So I can say I am no. I can say I am nowhere. I can say I'm nowhere, but I'm in a very valuable place.
But that ignores the fact that we've had thousands of years of human beings to study, and we know for a fact that while there are differences in every person, there are also things that are exactly the same about everybody, right? There are lots of things about human beings that we know as a human being, almost all of us feel and experience, right? Like there are the commonality, like what makes us all common, right? What makes us all want to be together and experience shit together. We are not all just unique stars out in space. In fact, we don't like being out in space by ourselves. We like living as a community. And we all, most of us, the mass majority of us all have these things inside us that are not unique at all, right? There are very unique things about every single person, and there are very ununique things about every single person, right? Like we all want to like be happy, right? We all want, I mean, like, you know, we all
commonality.
Right, the commonalities, right. And what I'm saying is, teaching people that only happiness only comes from money doesn't lead to happiness, and we've seen this.
Well, is that the lesson that she's being taught?
Yeah, that's the part of it that you can't teach. I mean, you don't want to be teaching that when this is happening. And I don't think the father was teaching him that. And you know, as much as it would be a rough road, let's say my son does do this and whatever, we would try and do it differently. You know what I mean? Like there's people that are actually, oh, I'm gonna move my child to Hollywood because he's gonna be a star, and then you know do all sorts of kind of crap like that. If it just so happens it's that, you know. But hopefully, I mean, what we would do is go into it more intelligently. Tell them, hey, you know, there's a shelf life. It's gonna stop. It's gonna come in for a short time, and it's gonna stop. You know, and have them understand that.
Right, you think that a 16-year-old understands a conversation over we're gonna let you completely pause your life to do this, because it's not that important. Don't take it too seriously. It's just important enough that this thing that used to be a requirement, no question, you do this every day, right? Like nothing gets you out of it. Nothing's more important. Now, this thing that I'm telling you, don't take too seriously, is serious enough that we're going to let you not care about fucking anything else in life. You really think that a 14, 15, 16-year-old is going to be like, well, I know this seems kind of crazy, but we had that conversation and my dad said, I mean, come on, like, what are you really showing them?
And you take that money and you put some money away, you make it, you know, into stocks and bonds and like.
Yeah, because that's what normally happens.
Funny
I mean,
thought,
come on.
I'm
like,
not telling you
funny
this
thought, right?
I'm saying what would happen with a parent that actually gives a shit.
Yeah, and that's
so funny
one in a
thought,
million.
right?
And when they turn 18, it ain't gonna matter what you want to do with the money anymore. It's their fucking money.
Depending on the kid, you could be happy Friday morning when you're in high school, you know. Depending on the kid, you're happy Friday morning or Sunday night. You're happy that, hey, Monday's coming around and I'm gonna go to school and see all my friends.
So
right?
the lesson is we should just want to do whatever makes them as happy as they can possibly be right this second.
Or you could be the kid that's there on Friday, like, man, the weekend's coming, I'm happy. Depending on who you are.
Right. Okay. That's what you're saying. You either enjoy going to school or you enjoy getting out of it.
Right. But once you become an adult, start paying bills, you're happier on that Friday of payday versus that Friday before the week after. That middle Friday.
Not to mention,
you got Friday, you got payday Friday, then you got that other Friday that's after payday Friday before the next payday Friday.
That was a rough Friday. That's a rough Friday.
We haven't even talked about
real Friday.
The idea of in a normal
that's not the Rebecca
life,
Black Friday.
You know, the ideal situation is that children have a certain period of time, right? You know, not always, right? But in an ideal situation, I'm guessing in this family's position, right, where they get to be a kid, right, where they're not worrying about how much money they make, what time they're supposed to show up, and not disappointing investors and all this shit, right? They get to play with their friends and do the shit that they want to do, right? And
the real would be like, hey, you signed up for this. Break yourself, right. Homie. You signed up for it.
Now you get to instead only give a shit about this from now until the day you fucking die. Because that's what happens, right?
I mean, honestly, doesn't happen. What? I think this should run. Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Victor.
When do they get to go back to not caring about that shit anymore?
Yeah,
when they're done making money off of it.
Exactly.
When you start, as somebody who's made a lot of money, let me be really clear. When you start making a lot of money, that's not when you get to stop giving a shit about any of that stuff anymore. That's when you have to care about it
find a way to
more than ever, because the tap's on and you can't let that shit get turned off. Because when's the tap gonna be back on again? You got to make that shit run as long and as hard as you possibly can. When are you gonna get this opportunity again? Don't fuck it up. You might not ever come. Give me a fucking break
about that. When the money dries up from that, they're gonna stop caring about that. They're gonna find another way to compensate
to make money, to keep doing it.
So at the end of the day, it's about the money.
What I'm saying is part of the beauty of childhood, part of the reason why most of us look back on it as such an amazing time in life is because you don't have all those fucking problems that you now have once you become an adult. I'm sorry to break this to you, but even when you have money, you don't get to stop giving a shit about paying bills and where the money, how much money you're going to have. Can I spend this money? Do I need to invest it here? What if I invest it poorly and I lose some of it? That shit never goes away once it starts.
Lady. She's getting money while it's free. I think good job, young lady, because once you become an adult, you're an adult forever until you die.
That's my point.
You gotta get money. So get that shit now while it's free. Get the head start that most.
Give up your childhood now, even though you don't need to.
Think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. And
none of this seems like it's what's best for the kid, but all about what's best for making money. So if you're right, if
at the end of the day, the kid's gonna have to make their own money as an adult.
In the world, then
they're not going
to
the right decision. They're growing older. They're growing up. They're going to eventually have to make their own money. So
forever.
Understanding it now is forever. It's the end result. So start that shit now.
My kids understand money. There's a big difference between giving somebody giving a kid a part-time job or a paper route and having them supporting the fucking family and
but who's to say like you support the family? But here's the thing: you give them a responsibility, right? Here's your allowance. You got to make sure you do the dishes or something,
I don't
right?
think either one of y'all are
so check it out.
Not
think
smart
about it like
enough
this,
to understand the difference between those things. Like it's
we
nuance.
Understand the difference between the two.
Nuance and nuance.
But you say here's $20. Go out there and cut the grass. I'm teaching you hard work, and here's $20 for it. Right? Or you can be like,
going to school, still hanging out with your friends, still having a fucking life.
Well, you can't do it while you cut grass because
stop
you
everything
cut grass
you're
on the
doing.
weekend.
Concentrate on this and only this, and let's figure out how to make as much money as humanly possible.
Here's the thing:
exact same thing.
You can't go out there and cut grass with your friends. So you either gonna work and cut
but
this
you
yard,
don't do it. This kid's broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not the same. You don't mow grass 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Here's what I'm saying.
This kid's
got go hang out. You go hang out with your friends and enjoy your life and not make money, or you can go out here. I'm gonna have you washing cars,
Right.
cutting grass,
Hey, and
helping
you're right.
people,
Making
and
money is the
making
most
dollars.
important
Right,
thing, right?
right.
Every
I'm gonna
argument
have
you
you do
make
that.
comes
So you
back
got
to
a
make
choice.
that
You got a
money,
choice.
make that money. I
Could
don't
either
think
make
make
money
that
with your
money is that
friends,
important.
or you can spend
not
time
true.
with your friends and do shit you're gonna do regardless. Live every day. They're just gonna watch you do it, and you're gonna get money for it. She hit the bank. She hit the bank. She hit the
That's
bank,
not
and
what
she's
she's
young.
doing. Anybody who
I don't know
thinks
what
that
she's doing. I don't know who the young lady
anybody
is.
who thinks that an influencer is just living their normal life on
No,
camera
they're
does
not at
not
all. They're
understand how
not.
that shit works,
No,
because that
I
is
understand.
not
No, they're
what they
not.
are
They're
doing.
not. They have a
They're
whole
spending
production team
every
behind them.
second worrying
Yeah.
about what every single thing they do is going to
They have
look
a
like to the
whole
world,
production team
and
behind
whether
them.
the one fucking phrase they say one day is going to cut it all off and send it to the
Yeah.
fucking grave. That's a great way for a 14-year-old
Oh
to
yeah, no,
live.
it's pressure. But look, okay,
I mean,
there's
Facebook, we know
there's
how horrible Facebook is for teenagers, right? This is a
it's the
proven
world.
study,
It's here
right?
until they
You
stop
think
electricity. It's here, bro.
24/7 Facebook is better?
But it's not 24/7. It's not. And she does have a show. It's not really a
That's
They
show.
used
what
to do
he
that with those
says.
porn sites,
She does
those
something
porn
like she
webcams.
does,
Like, no, never mind. It's China.
she does like I think she does like 4 or 5 hours a day. I can't remember.
Oh,
what it
okay.
says.
You had said
But, but then
maybe
she has like she has to prep for it. She does
right.
4 or 5 hours of
She's
prep.
got a
She does
tweet,
4
and
hours.
she's got a fucking Instagram, and she's
Oh,
got
no,
a
no. I mean, actually, like she does bits
It's
on there.
work.
She does all sorts of stuff. She
right.
actually has to prepare
It's
for it.
work.
Right, and
She
she
getting paid a
also
good
has
amount of
to
money for working. She started
make
working
sure
early.
she's posting on all the other platforms to
Wait,
get her
hold on. She's
ratings
16,
up.
right? She's
Yep.
she's
Yeah,
16,
16.
right? Okay, fuck it. She's at the age to work. I started working at 15, and I
It's
was only
not
making like
the
$6 an hour.
same fucking
She got a better
thing.
job.
Like,
That's
how
all.
can you
Better
don't
job.
see the
Yeah,
difference
that's all it is. I
between
started
having
working at
a
15.
fucking
She got a better job. That's it.
and you dropped out of school to do it?
No, I had to go to school too.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, I went to school for another 2 years.
I'm
And it
not-
was like, you gonna keep working?
I've never said that a
Yeah.
young person having a job is a bad idea. I've said that telling a young person that making money is important enough, that
Right.
education and having a life are not important enough right now while
Well,
you
it's
can
not-
make all this
Well, I don't
money
think
is
that
a
he
bad
just.
idea.
I honestly don't think that her father necessarily said that.
Of course he didn't
I
say it.
can't put.
Of
Those
course,
words in his
I'm not
mouth,
suggesting she
but
sat
if
down and
she's
said, "Hey,
16
don't give a shit about anything but making money."
if
But
she's
that's what's
16
gonna happen.
Hold on. If she's 16 in 2 years, the 2 years should be walking up to 18, right? At that point, you're an adult. Ain't no more schooling unless you choose to.
Okay.
You got 2 more years left
And
of
you
real
graduated high
education.
school and gotten an
Right,
education.
right. You know, I graduated at 17. You know what I'm saying? So she got 1 more year in some cases.
Wait a year.
To where it's like you got 1 more year left, bro. But you finna be out here making this money. Ain't nobody finna cry tears for you. You gotta pick your ass up and handle this shit. You could choose to go to college or not, but you finna be
that's not
you're
the
finna
only
do the
thing
same
that
thing at
matters.
18. You're finna do the same thing at 18 that a 50-year-old finna do. Y'all finna apply for the same fucking job.
Not to mention, here's a
You know what I'm
whole
saying?
nother. No,
So
I
you
don't.
want to get this
I
bread
don't
now,
agree with what you're saying.
or do you want to keep going? What I'm saying is, you have to look at it from a reality-based
I
perspective.
am looking at it
right?
from a reality standpoint.
She's
I'm
16.
recognizing the opportunity she has, the money she
she's
can make,
getting
what she's giving
hundreds
up
of thousands of dollars.
have
It's
2
gonna come with
years.
that pressure. Think about working sales, right? Think about when we work sales together. We made hundreds of thousands of dollars for a company. We
Sure.
made hundreds of
I
thousands
don't
of
wanna-
dollars for a
I
company
don't
and
want
got
this to
paid a
take 10
fraction
minutes.
of that, bro.
Sure, if you can go out and work for yourself instead of somebody else, that's a great idea. That's a different argument
She's
from
working
quitting
for
school
herself.
at 16. It's a different
16
argument.
working
She's
for
not an
herself.
adult. She
All right.
hasn't graduated high school. They're not the same fucking thing.
But
But
look,
she
they're
will
not.
be in that
All right,
route in 1
so-
year, bro.
so
And
you
she's
know,
16 working for
you know
herself,
for
making
a
hundreds
fact-
of thousands of dollars.
you know for a fact that kids that come from wealthy families that have that money already in the bank, they have a step up on kids that don't. When they get to college, when they get to high school, all that stuff.
Okay.
All of that is. So these kids that can make that cash with their parents still giving a shit about them and putting that money away, it's just giving them a little bit of that step up on the rest of their life.
Except statistically, that isn't what happens. Like,
And
if that were
statistics
true,
don't take-
if statistically kids who
statistics
made
don't take surveys in the hood, bro.
But it doesn't matter. It does matter. I guess you're right. It does matter if statistically that happens. but
right.
you
Kids who make money.
You have to actually play a part in their lives and make them to understand they're
You think
going
that's
to
what you think that's what it is? You think that every kid who's managed to find success and make a fuck ton of money all had parents who just didn't give a fuck?
Oh fuck no, bro. No.
Of course not.
No. I know
But
parents that
yet,
don't give a fuck and their
but
kids
yet,
still ain't make shit.
somehow, most of them end up living terrible fucking lives. So why is that?
Because they become adults and fucking
that do have good lives and go
Not
to
most of them.
afterwards.
Not most of them.
Well, that doesn't mean. I mean,
the ones that are polarized that you get access to and know
So you
about,
shouldn't
bro.
give a shit what happens most of the time. You should just assume you'll be the lucky ones who don't experience all that.
Most kids don't go to college. There's a whole lot of kids that don't go to college
because they can pick up trades and make tons.
She's not dropping out of college. If she was in college and wanted to do this, I'd say go for it. She's not.
Well, what I'm telling you is,
she can get
already
a GED.
betting on something that is not statistically.
They're bypassing that. They're doing LeBron. They're going straight from high school into the NBA, bro.
Okay.
They're bypassing that shit.
Sure.
They're bypassing it.
That's not where she is at life.
Yeah, he's a success story.
He didn't drop out of high school at 16 to play basketball.
Oh,
it's not the same thing.
One more year, bro. She got one more year. You can grab that diploma or not, but did he ever say I need to? It doesn't matter, bro. Like he's not gonna be like,
oh, I need to go back and grab that high school diploma. Because here's the other thing that we haven't talked about.
I'm making money hand over fist. Hold on. Here's
that normally is not a good lesson in life.
Learning
Learning to be able to just make money hand over fist doing nothing is not a good lesson in life. We know this. Like we know this to be true. We know that people who have that early on don't learn the shit that leads to a happy, successful, content life in the future.
It's common sense that can tell you that, but if she has
if she's extremely lucky,
financial coach,
statistically
has a
most
team,
children, it might work out for her.
Fuck them statistics, bro.
We haven't found
anything living that says
for real. You are going to be able to know which kid is going to do that and which kid isn't, right? Since we haven't found that common denominator.
That those statistics don't even work for.
The fuck does that have to do with anything?
That's why we have upper, middle, and lower class, bro.
Like sounds like it's big, but it doesn't have anything. Great. There's adults that do
specific.
Statistics.
Like you're talking about statistics on kids having a large amount of money that won't be successful. We have adults who've been working that same process that you're talking about that still does not have it. Those
right. They're just way more likely
don't
to
even
have
apply to them because they're not even considered.
If you think that statistics don't apply,
classes of humanity,
then I don't know how to break it to you.
You
but
have a whole middle,
crazy.
lower, and poverty.
I mean, say that looking at what has found success and what hasn't, and suggesting that following the things that way more likely lead to success than the things that randomly lead to success isn't going to give you a better chance in life. I mean, I don't know why you don't understand that, but that's how
millionaires, bro. There are a ton of millionaires.
What does that have to do with anything? Most millionaires didn't become millionaires overnight, Dot. Most of them worked their asses
did.
off.
Some have. Some
very
did,
few. Very few.
I can't tell you very few, but I can tell you that given today's age,
I can. The amount of people that just luckily strike it rich.
Look up. I'm telling you. Look up
the amount of people that earn the money by working hard and doing something that is statistically proven to make you successful.
See if you can look at the millionaires under the age of 25.
What the fuck does that have to do with? You can work hard at 20.
Is she not working hard at 16? She's battling suicide, all types of other shit, and this other stuff. Is she not working hard?
Like mixing up the arguments.
No,
I'm not saying she's not working hard.
The variables,
no, bro, you're saying that it's okay.
Whether she's 16 or 20, she's working hard, but
those are two different conversations that we're having. I'm saying in a whole different path that you decided to go down, we were talking about whether statistics make any sense or not, and whether there's any legitimacy to doing things that are statistically more likely to bring you success, or going with the things that statistically give you very little chance at having success. And now you were saying that now you're making an argument about whether she's working hard or not, which is a completely different fucking argument.
A valid or invaluable point is not going to. Yeah.
What?
Say it again.
She already beat statistics.
Boom.
Okay.
She already beat statistics, so she's in a whole different realm now.
Right, but the people that make it to her realm, right? The people that are lucky enough to get rich at a young age.
Now we do the deeper dive. That's what I'm saying. So let's go deeper. Go ahead.
Okay,
Say
the
that.
deeper dive is that people at a really young age that make a fuck ton of money doing really easy shit don't statistically have a very likely chance of leading a long, happy, productive life.
We've seen now. What are those? What are those statistics? Because we just throw the word around, but without the data.
Yeah, how do you know that?
It's common knowledge. I'll look it up.
Common knowledge is
different. Just because you guys don't know it doesn't not make it common knowledge.
And statistics are two different things.
It's people. The news
statistics can be commonly known. They're not. Don't have to be
exclusively mutual. Kids that had common known. They want you to see Danny Bonaducci's. They want you to see all these kids so they blast them on the news. Oh, this poor kid, he had whatever and he came down. They don't talk about Mayan, what's her name, Bialik, who's working for Jeopardy.
Mayan Bialik,
They do talk about this. Awesome. And those guys do interviews all the time about how hard it was. I just watched the thing with Miley Cyrus. Would you consider Miley Cyrus
It's work. It's hard. It's hard. You have to. It's gonna
okay.
Be hard.
I know. I didn't say it wasn't. Again, I never said it wasn't hard work. I don't know why we're talking about this.
Because you just finished saying that everyone says it's hard to come out of this. Well, yes, it's hard.
Life is hard.
Yeah. Okay. I don't disagree that it's hard.
You were just making an argument that you watched something that all those people that were successful and made success out of being successful at a young age and has now
became crack whores on Skid Row in San Fran.
It is hard. It's work. It's supposed to be hard.
It is hard. It's work.
I got gray hairs from working, and I don't have.
Okay. Again, like I think we're like mixing up the arguments where Dot was talking about statistics don't mean anything, and I was saying that
I didn't say statistics don't mean anything. I say statistics are different than common knowledge. You can't just apply the word statistics to something to make an argument.
Okay, that's
not without the data.
That's a whole nother argument that you just brought up. The thing that had to do with hard work. What? I'm trying to keep up with all the shit that you're randomly throwing at me that doesn't necessarily have to do. And then when I try to make sense out of it, I'm just like confusing everything.
Donda.
You confuse the argument and they get pissed at me for trying to make sense out of it. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Do you feel angry, Adam?
I was yes. Because
I give you another gray hair, Adam.
I really hate when we like break down into shit that doesn't matter.
Now I'm an influencer. I'm influencing his blood pressure, and I'm influencing his gray hairs. I'm an influencer now.
I just saw, by the way, even the ones that do find success, like I just saw an interview with Miley Cyrus where she just talked about how having her entire childhood taken away.
Yeah,
right?
Like Michael Jackson.
So that she could be successful.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Made her life so much harder, and she wished she hadn't have done it.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
And that's a successful one. That's one who didn't turn into a crack whore.
I like that. I like that though, because think about like this.
From her mansion. Did she say this from her
that part right there? You got it, buddy.
Did she say this from her Mercedes?
Right, because what you can buy is all that matters, right?
I want Miley to be more black man.
Makes life a lot easier.
I want
and you can make money and make life easy without having a mansion. And we all know that's true.
You can, of course. We all don't have that.
Let me ask you this.
Life is easy.
Let me ask you this. Is life easier in a mansion than a house my size? Does it make life easier?
You can't ask me that because I just spent the weekend in the mansion last month and they have remote control ceiling fans. And
that really makes,
it was so easy to just be like, take the fan off the wall and do it.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what we're teaching people. That's what's really important.
But the air,
the
air,
education, so time with your family, life experiences compares nothing.
When I went to take
a remote control fan and a house that's 4,000 square feet bigger than you need it to be.
I went to take a shower.
That's what this is all coming down to, because
and I'm looking out the window,
coming from a life where
It had 2
the
shower
chances
heads.
that
Actually, had
she's
3
not going to
shower
be able to
heads.
go to college,
It had the
graduate,
2,
and get a job where she can provide
and then
for
it
a
had
family
the
and have a
1,
decent life, are slim to
and the
fucking none. But
other one, the
if she
shower
can
came
make
out of the wall.
$200,000
It
a
was
year
like,
right fucking now,
it was
why not
awesome
take a
weekend.
risk at completely fucking up your life so that you can have some really fancy shit?
Just donate the money and just be poor. Will she do it? Will she
Yeah,
go
'cause
backwards?
that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it
No,
sounds real
no.
good. I mean,
It
why does
sounds
that
great.
matter?
Statistics, bro.
Statistics have something to do with her choosing to donate all of her money.
Statistically, she won't do that shit. That's what statistics say. Statistics is common knowledge that says people that got all that
Okay.
money ain't finna get that shit up.
Right.
It sounds good to
Yeah,
say, I
hey,
wish
the
I
fact
didn't
that a
have to
lot
go
of
through it.
people think that buying fancy shit is important means it is, right?
It's not even about that. Once again, it's about the same thing that we talked about before. It's security. People
It's
that
like my boy
have
said,
more
I'm all
money
about
families-
have
zebra
more
food.
security.
But
Yeah,
it
security, bro.
doesn't. The amount
Just because
of
it happened to
kids
other people
who-
doesn't mean it's going to happen to her.
You're right. You're right. And just because people who drive
Valuable.
without a seatbelt die in a car accident doesn't mean that everybody who drives without a seatbelt is going to die in a car accident. We still put
I
our
know people that
seatbelts
drove
on.
with a seatbelt and got in accidents and got their head cut off.
Sure. Right. So do you drive without a seatbelt because of that?
No, I drive because I got pulled over one time and ended up on seatbelt probation because the cops saw me at Fredericksburg and Heebner, but then pulled me over all the way inside of Heebner Oaks because I was in a Lincoln and in a slow car, but he had a fast
This
car
has
and
something to
followed
do with a
me.
seatbelt at some
And
point.
yeah,
right?
no, he said I'm actually parking the car, getting out to go into work when I worked at the movie theater, and he was like, you know why I'm pulling you over? I'm like, I'm parked. I'm going into my job. He's like, you don't have a seatbelt on, and I saw you quarter mile back over at the light down back over there. Oh,
So you're saying
okay.
you wear a seatbelt so that you don't get.
Well, I was on seatbelt probation for like 6 months. It's like if you get pulled over again without a seatbelt, you're going to prison, sir, for not wearing a seatbelt. So seatbelt probation is
going back to
my life,
the
right?
fucking point.
So I wear a seatbelt now because it's like, hey, when I first started driving as a young lad, I got pulled over for not wearing my seatbelt, and it was like a $400 fine, and then I ended up on probation for 6 months, and I was like, damn, this is crazy for not wearing a seatbelt. Let me just click it or ticket.
Okay, so are you saying that it's not, you don't wear it for safety?
It's about that money. I ain't trying to get them that money that I work hard to make to give to them, so that because that's their job and that's how they make money. It's the system. You got to reciprocate. It's the foundation of the proclamation with the emancipation.
Now, answer the question. Do you wear a seatbelt for safety or because you're afraid you're going to get a ticket?
I'm programmed. It's not for safety. It's very uncomfortable. I don't want to get a ticket, bro.
You want to get a ticket? Okay.
It's not.
I think a lot of people would say that statistically, it's been proven that wearing your seatbelt is much more likely to reduce your chances of getting injured and dying, and extremely less likely to increase those chances. And because crazy shit happens, you don't I'm not trying to suggest.
Well, you do know that most drivers survive car accidents because they're in the center of the actual car motion, and everybody else gets thrown out or fucked up, right?
No, I don't know that.
They control the center of the even though it's offset, the center of motion of that car is controlled by the driver. Is why you always.
I also know that they've done tons and tons of.
And this is based off of statistics and data.
Okay, great. And it doesn't contradict anything that I'm saying.
Honestly, I don't understand how this is a good.
Victor's like, you too old, man.
It like actually means something to what the situation that we're discussing. I don't understand how it's connected to a girl that has success at a young age versus not wearing your seatbelt. I don't think that's
if a punk ass don't wear her seatbelt when she's driving her Maserati, it's a wrap.
A simplistic way to explain something that I just take for granted, and I think most people do, but we're not doing that on this show for some reason, right? Which is that playing the odds pays off. Not every single time, because there's a difference between increasing your chances of success and guaranteeing them, and there are no guarantees in life, right? But following the things that give you much better chances then the things that give you much less chances works out in the long run for most people, not everybody, right?
But
And
she already
so
beat the odds and won.
at a
For now.
completely different thing,
now.
being
For now,
able
though.
to establish yourself as a trendsetter or influencer does not show any indication of also being somebody who is going to, at a very young age, do something that most of us often don't do even at an older age, which is be smart with our money, right? But we do know that the older that we get, the more experience that we have, and people who've learned the lesson of getting rewarded for hard work tend to take their money more seriously, do better things with them, and live happier, productive lives. And what I'm suggesting is
that lesson that we spend our lives learning to why we are the way we are with the money we are.
Which
so
is why I
if
think
she
it's a
amassed a
great
large
thing
amount
to
of
not.
money at an early age, she now has she's got a head start on
No,
being
that's
able
not that's not what it shows. Sorry,
what do you call it? Not retain
you're
it.
going down a path that doesn't line up with the rest of the shit that you were saying. Getting money at an early age does not show that you learn the lesson sooner. It just shows that you blow the fucking money because you haven't learned the fucking lesson.
That's under the assumption.
That's
under the assumption that she's blowing it. But what you're
I'm not. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Quickly, this is where the seatbelt thing came in. This is what I was trying to explain before. I'm not saying I know what this one person is going to do, because you never know what any one person's luck and experience.
And like with the seatbelt thing, you don't know why someone wears it versus someone doesn't.
Doesn't matter why they wear it or not. That's not the point of that statistic. It doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter why they wear it.
They just
does not change the likelihood of them getting hurt or dying in an accident, whether they wear it for a ticket or because their mom fucking told them to. Doesn't change the fact
of the safety of the seatbelt, right?
I just don't understand how that compares to her having money at a young age.
No, I kind of see where he's going, but
what I'm saying is that I would rather send my kids down a path that makes it more likely for them to live happy, productive lives. And I know you guys don't agree with me, but I do believe that it is common knowledge. And I will bring statistics next week to back it up. But I've seen all kinds of shit that says that kids that find success early, right, and can't maintain it for a long period of time, which is most of them, do not go on to take the money that they earned at 16 and put it in an IRA and live off of it for 40 fucking years and live these wonderful, productive lives where they don't have to worry about money because they have all this money that they only use when they absolutely need to tap into it, not to buy fancy cars and big houses and party with their fucking friends, which is what they normally do.
So someone that can tell them to take that money. So someone that can spend 20 minutes telling them, hey, take this money, go put a portion of it in the IRA because it'll last you longer. Conversation had. Now the second part is the choice.
But it's still their money, and they don't have to choose to do that. And they typically
that's
don't.
why I said the second part is the choice.
Right.
This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm saying. Right. That's why I said the second part is a choice.
Yes.
Conversation just had 20 minutes when a conversation. Hey, take half of this money, go put it in an IRA. You can live off of 40 years, whatever. Right. You're like, okay. Second part, once again, is a choice. Now, that's something that every human has to deal with.
Sure.
The choice. Sure. So whether you take $20 every paycheck and put it in one as you grow through life, or whether you take a lump sum now at an early age because you got it and dump it, it's choice.
Yeah, of course it is.
That circles back into the fact of what I was saying, that you have people who have lived long lives and still have made financial mistakes.
Sure. But the falsehood
with
is the assumption that this is going to change that.
With the experience, with the knowledge, with the understanding. You see what I'm saying? With that, this young lady has not even achieved that. So she has some wiggle room to make that mistake.
Understand, like, yes, she does. And yes, she could possibly not do those things. But we are aware of, like I said, commonalities in human behavior, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Understand that just because she has a choice and a possibility of doing one way doesn't mean that we don't know that based on the way humans behave, that doesn't mean that there isn't a much better chance that instead of that happening, it leads to dysfunction in life that causes problems later on in life, which is the knowledge that I'm going to bring to you guys next week that I understand to be common knowledge and you guys don't, that statistically that is more than often than not what happens with kids and even adult. Like I'm not saying that it won't happen with adults. I'm not saying that at 22 you will have learned that lesson. I think you have a better chance of having that lesson, and at 22 it doesn't matter because I don't get to tell them what to do anymore. And this was all about a father's decision to let his kid drop out of school to be an influencer, and whether or not I thought that was a good idea. I'm not suggesting that we get to make laws about it. I'm not suggesting that when they're an adult, they don't get to make that decision.
I feel you. I feel you. So let's entertain option B. Let's entertain option B. Option B is okay. She is doing this. She has done this for a year, let's say, right? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna need you to stop doing this right now. Deactivate your page. And it's simple. It's simple. Deactivate your page right now. No more talking to your friends. No more doing this influencer shit. Take your ass to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. Fuck the money. Take your ass to school. You're going to be in class at 8 a.m. This is over. I'm done. Tell your friends to go home. Camera crew, get the fuck out of here. You got class in the morning. What you're going to do now is you're going to go through school. You're going to get your diploma. Then you have the choice. After you achieve that diploma, you have the choice to say, I want to go to college. Or you have the choice to say, I want to jump into the work field to make money to pay bills.
Sure.
Weren't you just doing that a year ago with the thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars that you just had?
Here's the difference.
I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
I do. And you want me to explain the difference? Because
you jump right back into the same circle you were in. It's just that you got the opportunity, you have the luxury now to get education later down the line.
Simple answer
instead of right
question.
at the moment.
We don't have to go through because none of
go
it.
For it.
What you're saying.
What is it?
At 18, I don't get to tell them what to do. If I did,
fuck that. You always a parent. You always tell your kid what to do.
They can't make them.
That's the fucking law.
Yeah, and
kids
are now staying with their parents up until 20 and 22.
Yeah, that's 18. Okay. That's just you're in.
So you're saying I do get to tell them what to do at 18?
You're damn right.
Parent. You're a parent.
Then I would not let them do it at 18 either. They're simple.
But that's
my issue with them waiting from 16 to 18 isn't because I think 2 years later they're ready. It's because 2 years later they can tell me to go fuck themselves and do whatever they want to do.
But they can tell you that they can tell you that at
16
in some places. Some places legally they can tell you that at 16. Some places 17.
Okay, and if that were the case, then I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So what's the point of this conversation?
So then the parenting goes beyond the age because
if I have enough influence at 18 to determine whether they get to do it at 18 or not, I wouldn't let them do it at 18 either. So there's your answer to that question. At 18, they're not old enough or smart enough yet either. I just don't think I get to tell them at that point. But if I do, then I wouldn't let him do it then either. If it was completely up to me, which I don't think it gets to be.
You're a dream killer. You're a dream killer. Is that what it is?
No, here's the journey.
I'm smart enough to understand that is not what dreams are made of.
Here's the journey, right?
I wouldn't let my kid become a kid actor and drop out of school. If they wanted to do all the stuff that they're supposed to do at their age and act, great. Live it up, have fun.
Here's the journey of parenting. Remember the first part of parenting, right? When you bring the baby home and you have to fucking work tirelessly to take care of this child.
Yes.
Make sure they can't even move. They're just a body just laying there. You got to teach them their hands, how to walk, how to count. The first,
I get it. As time goes on, you got to give them more and more responsibility. Sure,
there's
absolutely.
A second part of parenting, the transition from womb to earth, part 1. Part 2 is from individual into their own life. That's the second part of parenting. It's at 18, the parenting doesn't stop.
I didn't say it
you now go into the second part, but so few people, everybody has the books on how to do that first half. So few people do that second half. So few people do that second half that you have. No, I'm talking about just being a parent.
I agree.
There's a second part of like teaching them.
Absolutely.
Because you already went through it. You don't know how you learn how to walk. You don't remember how you learn how to talk. You don't remember how you did your ABCs, but you already went through it, so you got to hear. You know how to teach them this part, and then what you try to do is teach them the second part that you're cognizant of.
Right.
Part 2 of growing up. So once they're 18, yeah, you still gonna tell them, hey, look.
Of course I am.
But it's what goes into the factor is that choice. But remember, conversation had. Take this really 25 million, put it in an IRA. You're 16. You could choose to do it if you want to or not.
Y'all both trying to suggest that an 18-year-old who has the ability to make $200,000 a year is going to think that they have that I can tell them what to do or not. Why in what world are they going to be like?
Do you really think your children are going to stop listening to you at 18?
A 16-year-old making that amount, you can't tell them what to do.
Get the fuck, that's bullshit.
You can't tell a 16-year-old, bro.
And you weren't making $200,000 a year. If you were completely financially dependent and could do and could make enough money to do almost anything you wanted to at 18 years old, your dad could have said, "Don't do that. Go to college," and you would have been like, "Yes, father." Get the fuck out. You know that.
That's the question.
Yeah, my mom.
You ever look at half the murderers and half the kids in Chicago?
There's no fucking way.
Chicago. Anybody telling them what to do?
My dumb ass at 18,
16,
would have
15,
told my parents, I was not
15,
literally
16,
told
17,
them to fuck off, but I would not
rolls.
given a shit if they thought I should have done it or not. If my kid is smart enough to still want my knowledge at 18, I'm glad to give it to them. And I would still tell them.
That's a choice.
Sure it is, but
because they may feel like I'm smarter than my father because I've attained this.
Like
I mean, it's getting a little off topic here because I mean, my only point is
it's in the realm.
The reason why I think it's a problem at 16 instead of 18 is because I don't think it's my decision anymore. If at 18 it's still my decision, I'm going to tell them not to do it because I still don't think it's a good idea.
So let's bring it down to the logistics, right?
It's somebody who
you apply for a job. Hold on, Adam.
Yes. I would rather them struggle. I want them to struggle because as somebody who's been broke and somebody who's been financially very, very well off, I'm telling you, it is much better life to have worked hard for your money, earned it, and respected it and appreciated it than to not have had to do that. And I know
I try to stay away from
this stuff because
I don't want to go into the details of how or what I made
the
money
idea
doing,
that having to wake up at 6 o'clock every morning and go to a job that you fucking hate every goddamn day to fucking make enough money to pay the bills is not the same fucking thing is waking up and doing some fucking podcasting.
Let me play devil's advocate, bro. There was a point in time in life when I was young.
I want my kids. Yes, I want my kids to spend a period of time working hard, understanding what it's like to work hard, understanding what it's like to make an amount of money that doesn't allow you to do whatever the fuck you want to do whenever the fuck you want to do it. I want my kids to learn the difference between earning something and appreciating the value of something you've earned and instant gratification. Yes, I want my kids to learn those things. And if it's up to me and I get to have a say in it for as long as I want to, I am going to devise a plan for my children to learn all of that shit before they have enough money to just do whatever the fuck they want to, which at some point I hope they can do, right? That's great. If that's important to them and they want to buy fancy things, great. But until they get to that point, I would very much like my kids to learn the idea of working hard for something and earning what you get, because kids don't get that anymore. It's all instant gratification. They get everything they want exactly when they want it, and it means nothing.
The world ended up gravitating to that understanding. When I think about the money that I made when I was in my early 20s, it pales in comparison to the fucking money I make now. Like, and the only thing I think about is like, damn, I work hard and not even I make nowhere near what I made in my early 20s. You know what I'm saying? but I work hard making a company millions. And I think about, damn, if I had known what I was making then, what I'm fucking punching clock for now, fuck this shit. I tell my daughter, like,
there's a flip
chase
side
your
to that.
dream, because I have to work now. I have to. Back then when I had the money, I didn't realize that, and I was in my 20s, I wasn't 16. I wasn't under my parents' roof with some guidance. I was the adult.
I
was the adult at 18. With the money. I was the adult with the money, and I still have to deal with the factor of, like, I gotta work now. So fuck that bullshit about telling my child, I want you to know, I don't ever want, don't look at what I did. Don't make my mistakes.
Influencing isn't like the same shit as like acting or
focus on your dreams and focus on your happiness. If you can take your dreams to make money out of them, if you can take your happiness to make money out of it,
playing a musical instrument that they love, or an athlete gets from playing the sport that they love to fucking play.
Why not?
Influencing?
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those things in your life? Like
someone to influence you?
No, a sport that like is something that like when I played basketball, like that was ever like nothing existed for me. Like I played,
it was something
like,
you found that you love. Yeah, that's understandable. If you ever had something in your life that you love.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying.
I play. Look,
I don't know how football you could my whole life to compare that to influence. Like showing people how to put makeup on makes you feel the same fucking way as somebody who like has a love for.
It can, bro, because you can spark something in that person to where they find a path. They find something they love. You got to think about it, bro.
Okay, now what you're saying is that it might.
I played football my whole life, and then I
wait. That's a different argument. I don't disagree that it's possible that could lead you into a path of something that you love. That's possible, but
that's the whole point of influence.
You think that somebody you think somebody doing a live broadcast is like has that euphoric feeling that comes from doing that thing you found that you love, that like nothing else matters while you're doing it, you're in your fucking
that's why the world has gravitated to the way that it has. Absolutely, because they're influencing other people to do it.
I don't believe that for a second.
So therefore you got
no, it's not, because it's not what I love. There's lots of shit that I don't love that I can completely understand that being the thing that you fucking love. I said, bro. But much as I take this idea that like if my kids find their passion in frying French fries, I'll support that. I also know they're not gonna find passion in frying fucking French fries, because that's not something you find passion in.
If your kids saw a YouTube video of someone putting on makeup and they said, "Dad, I want to do this. I want to teach people how to put on makeup. I want to influence them," and they start doing makeup, right? Yeah. You're like, that's crazy. You're just putting on makeup. But then they take that makeup and now they're working for a movie. They're MUAs. Or MAU, whatever. And now they're creating things like The Predator, all these movies. No, it's the same thing. You're looking at the origin. You're just looking at the origin of where it comes from.
Origin and same thing aren't that they don't mean the same thing.
They could just pull it up on online versus having to go to a library.
I agree that it could possibly lead to a passion. I do not believe it in itself is the passion of these kids. And again, there is the exception that proves the norm. Is there one in a fucking thousand of these kids that are doing what makes them unbelievably happy? Sure. But you're really telling me you don't think that 99% of them, it's all because it makes them a lot of fucking money? Like, you really think that?
Well, that's okay, but that's the point.
There's a lot of people
so bro, so when you think about it, right? If it's helping to make money, right? No problem. Let's address that. If it's helping them make money with something that they're gonna have to do their whole fucking life regardless, why not get a start on it? If the opportunity persisted, presents itself,
like,
get a start on it. But that's what I'm saying. You're like, is it not?
Go through all of that again.
We're going in a circle.
I think I honestly,
but yeah, of course, it has something to do with the money.
What they like, and what they really want to do.
Yeah, they're plenty of money off of it.
Again, I'm sure there's the exception.
As long as it ain't killing or hurting nobody.
But I've watched these shows where the kids are trying to break into being an influencer, and they're not. It's not like, oh, I have a passion for doing this and I hope everybody likes it.
They just trying to get the bag.
75, 100, 2,000 different fucking things until they find something that people follow them for, and they do that. That's their passion. Is to find something that people will watch them doing. That's what we're defining as passion. The one thing people are interested in.
Isn't that what the people on Saturday Night Live do? That's what the people on Saturday Night Live do.
No, they don't.
Do comedy skits.
They do comedy skits.
Watch me
comedy.
do this and make comedy, but it's still you watch it. There's something that they're passionate about. So
comedy. That's one thing.
Yeah, like being an actor, being a person that's in front of people, making them laugh or making them cry.
I do not believe for a second the people that are the truly successful and talented actors and musicians do it because people want. I'm sure they enjoy that part of it, but they're musicians. They love music. That's why they become successful musicians. Actors like to act. That's why they become successful actors that people watch. This is not what kids are. They're not saying, I am amazing at playing video games. Some exceptions. Some kids love to play video games. Kids watch them. More power to that, right? But that's not what most of these influencers, movie, The Wizard, which is different than a professional gamer, right? An influencer is somebody who just gets a lot of views. And most of them just do whatever they got to do to find the thing that people are watching the most. That's not finding a passion. No. That's finding what other people like watching you do.
They reach a point.
That's not the same thing
in life to where they become an influencer. They don't
become they start doing it's the one thing everybody enjoyed about them. It's because it's what they like to do. That's why it's a passion.
You don't just start your page like I'm an influencer. No, you have to reach a point to where you become an influencer, bro.
Sure you do. Right. And have you watched the shows about the kids who are becoming influencers? I watched this thing the other day where it was about houses with influencers in it. And it's like, have you tried doing this yet? Have you tried? I tried being funny. They didn't like that. I tried singing. They didn't like that. I tried playing. They didn't like that. That's not a passion. That's figuring out what people will pay you to do. Trying to
find your market. That's doing your marketing research.
Yes, exactly what that is.
But still, it's the same thing that people do on. Now, it is comedy, but people do it on the comedic stage. They go up there and they try some material out. People don't like it. They walk down, they try something else out, they try being funny this way.
Not the same. That's a different comedy act.
It's called honing your influence, I guess.
That's the same thing as like being a singer and not deciding if you're pop or country yet. That's not the same thing as trying out 150 different things until they have nothing to do with each other, by the way, except that people watch them. Like they're not even same genres.
A pitch man. A pitch man is a perfect example, Adam. Pitch man is a perfect example. I'm gonna advertise this. You find something else to advertise. I'm gonna advertise a ShamWow. I'm gonna advertise this Flex Seal.
Still not the same thing. Those people are writing ads in all of those scenarios. They're writing ads.
It's a form of
That's not what these kids are doing.
That is what some of these.
They're not writing ads. Selling shit and writing ads are not the same thing.
No, but they like even this girl.
I've sold lots of things. I didn't write ads.
This girl said she even spends 4 hours prep for her 4 hours on.
Okay, Adam, let's dive into this. Writing an ad. What do you mean?
It's work. I'm not saying
Adam. What do you mean writing an ad?
I'm not saying she's not working.
What do you mean writing an ad? Maybe I don't know. What do you mean writing an ad? What does that mean? You're saying that they're writing ads?
Yeah, an admin writes ads. That's the example you used.
You're saying that,
I'm sorry, real quick, so that we don't
about
an argument about something else exposed to what the actual argument was, which we always do. You said, how is that any different than an advertiser writing this ad and that not working, and then writing this ad and that not working? The difference is they're writing ads.
What I was saying
is
being the pitch person for a product, being the influencer for a product,
is not the same thing as somebody who writes advertising.
No, he's not talking about
I'm
writing.
I'm not talking about writing
That's the example that he used.
No, he's talking about the actor. The actor.
I'm gonna sell ShamWow. I'm gonna sell this. I'm a pitch person.
This product is wonderful. This product
is wonderful. Do this. Put your makeup on like this. I'm just influencing you to buy this product. Maybe it's a different terminology then. We call them pitch people back
then. And you think
the Home Shopping Network,
the HSN Home Shopping Network.
You think them trying different commercial formats is the same thing as trying to be a comedian, trying to be a makeup specialist, trying to be
we're trying to
a
expand
person
upon the
who
understanding of
does
how
this.
you
Those are all.
advertise.
Those are not. They're all like.
You can't neglect one person's way of
I'm not
advertising
neglecting
because
anything.
it's not
You're
fundamentally
trying.
what
No, you're
you
trying to
believe in.
suggest that
That's what I'm
things
saying
that
to
are
you.
extremely
The
different from
stage
each other
changes,
are the
bro.
same thing, and they're not.
That sounds pretty close. Sounds pretty close.
It's relatively close because I'm influencing you to believe in this role. Okay, a superhero.
Okay, so okay, let me try to make an accurate
Perfect
comparison.
example
So it would be the same thing as me for my passion, right? Because it's what I'm passionate about. Trying to find out what somebody will pay me to do. So first, I go into advertising. I'm not good at that. Nobody wants to pay me to do it. So then I go into banking, right? I'm not any good at that, so I don't do that. Then I go into acting, not any good at that, so I don't do that. I go into singing, not any good at that, so I don't try to do that. Finally, I find out that I'm really, really good at selling insurance and people will pay me to do that. Well, that's me chasing my passion, right? Because they were willing to pay me to do it. I just needed to figure out what the thing was that they wanted to pay me to do. That's following my passion. I would think following your passion is I really want to be a stand-up comedian. It's what makes me feel good. And so I'm going to do that. And the fact that I get up there and I get booed,
why did you change the
doesn't make me try
why
singing.
Did you change the
it makes me become a better comedian because deep down inside of me, what I really want to do is I want to be a stand-up comedian. It's what makes me feel good. It doesn't even matter if I'm getting paid for it. I love it. It makes me feel good.
But that's your journey in life. That's not what I'm talking about.
Being an actor. He was talking about being an actor and having a passion for being an actor. And the actors that are on the HSN network, they sell stuff. And they sell all sorts of different stuff.
So what?
But that person's an actor. That's what his passion is being an actor, being in front of people, being in front of
and he goes on HSN to fucking make money until he can do acting. They don't go on the home food network. They don't go on the home shopping network because they feel great about the acting career.
When you get bro,
they're building.
It's a form of sales, but it's still their passion. But it's more in tune.
I think that they enjoy making money, and they realize there's shittier things what it is doing to make money than that. But if their passion is acting, like, do I think that the majority of actors that ended up on the home shopping network feel like this is what I was trying to achieve? No, I don't believe that. Okay. I don't think you do either.
Maybe there is. Maybe there's people that are actors and they're good at selling things. That's what they found out that they're good at. They're good at selling things. They can do it in front of.
Being good at something and your passion aren't the same thing. I'm good at a lot of things that I'm not passionate about.
So what if that was their passion?
I've made money, lots of money. What was that? Things I'm not passionate at all about.
Because you negate it. What if that was their passion, bro? What if they sat there with their mom watching Home Shopping Network all day and they're like, I want to do that because my mom loves watching that.
If I was suggesting that it's not their passion because it's not mine, that would be fucked up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is these kids that are going on to be influencers, that's what we're talking about. You guys
so what is their motivation in acting? Is their motivation for the
people
role?
Are passionate about to prove that these kids are passionate about this, and I don't agree with the comparisons that you're making. I don't think that most of the kids
you have to say what is your motivation for this role?
I think most actors' motivation for being an actor is that they love acting, right? That's why most of them go on tons of interviews and get rejected and put up with all the horrible shit that they put up with, because when they're acting, they get that feeling I got when I could play basketball. It's the thing in life that fulfills them, that even when they're not making a fuck ton of money or any money, right? Even when they're doing a free play, not off Broadway in San Antonio.
And you think there's no possibility that
Hold on, Vic.
No, I'm not. Again,
hold on, Vic.
I'm not.
What
saying
about the thousands?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
hundreds of thousands of people that drive that
there is
the
one
story
in a million
where they go out
love
west
every
to
second
Hollywood
of it. I don't think that's most
to
kids.
just be
I don't think that's
popular
why
and
most
be
of them
famous
do it.
and be in the acting and don't have any acting skill ability.
What makes you so sure that most of them this is their passion?
Yeah, because actually, no, I believe that there is something that they're passionate about because they spend so much time doing it, because they want to do it, because they enjoy doing it.
It has nothing to do. with the fact that it gives them some popularity and money.
Honestly, I believe some of these kids, if not most of these kids, would still be doing it if nobody was watching.
Then why?
Because
when
they were
people stop paying,
influenced to do
they
it.
disappear.
Huh? No, I mean they do not. Most of those guys are still doing what they're doing, just nobody pays attention to them anymore.
Even they're doing something else. They go behind the scenes, they become produced, they do whatever they want to do.
But that doesn't this gets really frustrating for me. That doesn't make it a passion, which is what we're talking about right now. You're right. Some of them might go on to other things, and it's even possible that it might.
But what is the problem with it not being their passion?
They are passionate about.
What is it? What does it matter? This is not their passion. Is they're on the path of finding their passion, like you say. They're young, they're kids. They don't know what they're
the argument about. That we're having. Like, are we changing what we're talking about?
No, we're not changing the argument. You said I was good at this. I tried this. I tried that. I tried this. What if they do that and they're successful at it, but it's not their passion? The passion does not equal success. But what if they find out that they became passionate about it while they were doing it? And now that's their passion, because before it was a blank slate. It was a blank slate. They didn't know what they wanted to do. Right. They just started doing this. Okay. And they learned that I found something I'm good at, and I'm passionate about it.
Okay. Yeah. In this hypothetical situation, I'd be very happy for the people who, after doing it for a really long time, and after it becoming a business, then became passionate about that. I don't, like, in my experience,
it's outside of your format of understanding.
No, it's not.
Bro, that's life.
No, it's not.
It's life. That's it. That's what it is.
I could say the same thing. I could say the point I'm trying to make is outside your understanding. I don't think it is, but I could say
there's no argument to that. But that's
my point. Factor. Like, I do understand. We just don't agree with each other. There's a difference between not understanding something and coming to a different conclusion at the end of it. I do completely understand what you guys are saying. I don't agree with you. I don't agree.
I'm surprised, especially coming from you.
That's fine.
That you don't agree with something, not that you're being dismissive of a whole bunch of people, especially with your entrepreneurial background.
My entrepreneurial background isn't my passion. It's what makes me money.
Well, that's sad. I always thought it was kind of your passion. I thought you liked that stuff. I thought you were
being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I thought that was one.
Or is it about the money?
I thought that was one of the things passion. It's something like, do I enjoy it more than waking up and going to work every day? Yes, absolutely. There are levels of enjoyment, right? And a passion is far beyond something I hate doing less or enjoy doing somewhat. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, when I had my own business, I enjoyed that more than anything else I do. Absolutely. I don't, is that a passion? No, like, passion would have been lots of other things. I think acting might have been a passion of mine. Playing basketball, had I not hurt my knees and been good enough, I'm sure that would have been something I would have done till the day I died, whether I made money doing it or not.
So if this young girl making this money is passionate about being an influencer,
you hustled to make your company bigger than what it was, better than what it was, more. It was you. It was behind. You were behind it. It was your name, everything.
And that can be fulfilling for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't understand why you can't see that what these people are doing
can be fulfilling.
Yeah,
it's their own journey.
Sure, I think having a job in that field can be fulfilling. I mean, I don't know if maybe I had a different experience with my passions than other people have, but
of course, that's the whole point of it being
my
your passion.
Entrepreneurship does not compare to the way I felt on a basketball court in any comparable fashion. Like, it is on a different stratosphere of experience than running my business was.
So then you weren't successful at basketball, but you are successful at this. Okay.
I'm not saying that everybody.
But hold on. So then if someone can align the two, I'm going to be successful at my passion. I have a passion to be an influencer. What I influence, I don't know. Whether I influence you to buy cups, or whether I influence you to put on makeup, or whether I influence you to cut hair. I don't know what I'll influence you in, but I want to be an influencer because that's my passion.
And I think that is not
Is
impossible. I don't think
something?
it's what the majority of people are experiencing when, I did a lot of shit to be popular and make money. They weren't my passions. I just enjoyed being popular and making money. That doesn't make it a passion
We
project.
live in a different time. It's easier now for these kids to do it in ways that
So
if we
it
had this
wasn't a
platform,
matter of ease or difficulty. That has nothing.
but the level
Playing
of ease
basketball,
come with
it
the
wasn't
degree
because
of
it was
difficulty.
easy. I didn't
No,
like
it's
it
your
because it was easy.
passion.
Yeah,
No, I know,
exactly.
but that's where she runs in the conflict of the anxiety of this or that. Yeah, the ease of it comes with a degree of difficulty. Yeah, of course. It's the story. It's the story of fucking life in the journey. But if we had the
to make the
platforms,
assumption that all of these kids,
right,
are only doing this because it's their passion, I would argue, and I've watched lots of shit, conversations, interviews, shit with extremely successful people in like the arts and that kind of stuff, right? Businesses, all that shit. You know what they all say is they would have done it no matter what. It was what they were going to do. And the reason that they were successful at it is because of that. It was because they found the thing that made them happy, and it didn't matter if they found success or not. And I think comparing that to somebody who changes what they're doing to find the success is an odd comparison.
Let me ask you a question. What are your 3 favorite basketball players?
Michael Jordan. 3. I always hate doing top 3 because I like things for different reasons. Maybe Reggie Miller. 5. I think Reggie Miller for sure, because not
Jordan Miller
talks so much shit and then fucks you up after doing it.
He can back it up.
Yeah, exactly. Like lots of people talk shit and lots of people play really well, but he did them both. I love that shit. I don't know, maybe I hate to like Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Ginobili.
Right. So you got about 5 favorite players right there, right?
Yeah. I guarantee you.
Did they play when you were learning how to play basketball, when you were falling in love with basketball? Some of them were playing, right? Jordan was playing when you were playing.
Jordan, no. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird would have been big. I'm old.
And I know, but I'm saying we're the same age, so they were playing in the NBA.
Yeah, because I fell in love with basketball.
But you should have been like 94.
Say that.
No, but I graduated.
What were you about to say?
I fell in love with basketball before I was old enough to play in the Y. You know, like I fell in love with basketball.
What about it? What about it made you love it? Just when do you know when you fell in love with basketball?
I fell in love with it immediately. I didn't know why at first. I think I do. It was like win or lose. No matter how good the person I was playing was, didn't matter if I was playing 5-on-5, 1-on-1, didn't matter if I was doing a 3-point competition. I mean, it didn't matter. Like if I was practicing my free throws, if I was running drill,
doing it. Right.
It wasn't just that I enjoyed it.
It was your passion.
It's more than that. Like, well, yeah, I mean it is, but the reason it was like, I don't know that anything else in my life, I know it's different for everybody. My head.
So you see how when you think about it, it brings to the forefront all these different, like you can't even put in a straight line the level of joy.
I mean, I know
that it gives you, like it just brings to the forefront of your mind all types of happiness and all types of great shit. Like you can go everywhere with it, right? Now
I can tell. I mean, the main thing I can tell you, I just was trying to figure out the right way to say it. Like when I played, like my head doesn't slow down. Like I don't think that's. I mean, I know everybody's always thinking, and maybe it is the same for everybody else. My experience is that it might not be. Like my brain is always going. Like it's always like trying to solve problems and figure shit out and thinking about the things that I have to do. And like, I can't, like,
it's what drawing did for me.
It doesn't do that. When I played basketball, that was the only thing in like until I stopped, like when they blew that whistle and until I sat down on the bench, like my head was nowhere else. Like,
Right.
and like even smoking weed almost gets me there, but I
But
can't do that anymore.
there's
But
nothing like that for you. So check this out, man.
Right.
Check this out. You found something during a time that you fell in love with. I'm an artist. I
I think there's
draw.
other stuff
I'm
that I would
talking
have that same experience with. I just haven't gotten to do, but basketball is
right,
my
right. But let's focus on the things you have been able to do, right? What's happening around you is that you're able to see and hear that same thing that you experience televised with people. You get to Truman Show in on them discovering their passion. It may not be something you agree with, or it may not be something you even understand. Once you understand it, you might be able to agree with it. But if yours was televised in the way that you just explained it, I can understand it because I'm an artist. I would watch Disney. I would watch
but
G.I. Joe, all the cartoons. I
right.
would read the comic books. I would spend days, like I would come home on a Friday from school and I would just draw all day. I wouldn't even go outside and play with my friends until Sunday night. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta stop. I don't want I you know what I mean? I went through reams of paper just sketching and drawing. So I
Right.
understand. That's why I asked you that. I wanted to find where you were
Right.
because I know where I am. And we
And
understand that.
right. And
What we're doing is we're witnessing people hit that same point that
I
we're
don't, but
at. It's just in a form of things that they don't that is unconventional to us.
no,
And that's all
it's
it
not the
is.
format that bothers me. I don't give a shit that they're on the internet. Like none of that fucking matters to me. And again, like I don't know how many like we're probably just going to have to agree to disagree on this because my point isn't that it's
Positively
impossible.
disagreeable. No.
Right.
Plug.
My point is not that it's impossible to find your passion doing shit on the internet or even as an influencer. I imagine that there are some, and they're probably the extremely not ones who find success on the internet, right? But like the girl with the most popular how to apply your makeup show is probably somebody who is passionate about putting on makeup. And my guess is, and I'm just guessing here, that she probably just started putting up videos of her doing that and it fucking blew up and she's just been continuing to do something she's always enjoyed doing.
What
But
if someone influenced her? So what if someone opened up that to her?
who cares? Like that.
Who cares? She cares.
I hate it when you do that. I'm not saying it does. Of course she cares. I'm saying it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying. Whether she was somebody influenced her or she figured it out on her own, if it's what she's passionate about, I don't. Good for her, right? Like I'm happy
These
for
people
her.
are necessary.
That's great.
They're necessary.
I don't think influencers are necessary. We had no problem selling shit before influencers came around, and we'll have no problem selling shit after influencers are gone.
It's just a new medium. I mean, the same shit happened when it went from radio to TV and
Agreed.
everything else.
Agreed.
What is not sales but
Agreed.
influence?
Sure.
A form of influencing.
Sure. None of that changes what I'm saying, which is that here, like in advertising, a lot of people who work in advertising, it isn't their passion. It's something they found that they were good at and they kept doing it, right? And I would argue that in most fields, most of the people doing it, except maybe like acting and singing, and I would only say that because I mean, you either just have to really love rejection or be really passionate about it. But most industries aren't like that.
Maybe we're leaving out a word that is being overlooked. We're going all the way to the deep end word is passion. Maybe it started with an interest.
And none of what you're saying changes. None of what you're saying changes.
Became, I was interested in advertising because I was intrigued. It was a spark, like, okay.
Honestly, Does it have to be a passion, or can it just be something that you enjoy doing? I mean, there's
What
plenty of
can
people.
what be that?
Anything
Can
that you
your job
do.
be something you're not passionate about? Of course it can be. It is for probably 90% of people
Right.
something that they don't even like fucking doing. But
What
that's
about
not
when they
what we're
like doing
talking
it?
about. I'm
What
not
about when they like
suggesting
doing it
every
and get
person
paid
gets to
for
do
it?
what they're passionate
What
about.
if they like doing it and get paid for it, but they're young?
I still don't think they should drop out of school and give their life to it. Passion or not.
I can agree to that to a degree.
I don't
To
I
a degree.
think
Here's why. Here's why. You know just as well as I do that people that grow up in a certain era of wealth, they don't go to public schools. You got friends that probably live like I do up in the Hamptons and vineyards and all types of secluded places to where they are private, they are private schooled,
sure.
or they have educators that come in. Not the format that we went through as in public school. Not, you know what I'm saying? They have like scholars that come in and educate their children
Sure.
because they have the wealth to do that.
School isn't just
So
about
it's
I mean,
about the experience.
right.
Right. No, and this is why I say that. This is why I say that. Because I know children that have before COVID opted out of going to school
Sure.
and only took it online. High school
Right.
now, mind you, you could do this online. Now, you know, I think it's like they have issues with being in places, so they have like a 501, 503, whatever program is called, Mickey
Yes.
Mino, and they take school
Texas,
online.
yeah, Texas homeschools. It's
Right. So
you don't even have to do anything. You can just decide your homeschool and sit at home all day if you want to.
right. So you have people that can take that route, but then you have people that don't go through the experience. I
Yeah.
went through
And
this
I think that
battle
there are
before.
reasonable reasons to do that. I think making a lot of money isn't one of them.
So when this young lady is at a point to where she's influencing and she's making a lot of money to where she's now putting her life aside because
At an extremely young
she's
age.
in this
Able
momentum
to
now.
process that, right?
She's in this momentum now to where other people are looking to her. Younger people, even older people. She's in this momentum now. She has to put her life aside because that's the requirement. She's going to have to
It's
get
not a requirement.
education of the momentum she's in. It's a
Oh,
requirement. If she chooses to stay in there, it's a requirement now. The air that she's in, the cruising altitude that she's in, it's a requirement. She's going to have to put that aside for a later date. Now, once that date comes and she has the choice to either say, hey, I want to go to school, I want to pick up my education. Cosby did that with all those people on his show. He put them in school. A lot of actors go on to, when they
not a
were
lot of
child
them
actors,
do.
a lot of
Not a
them went
lot of
back
them
in to
do.
go get degrees
Some
in
of
high
them have.
school or
Yeah.
college.
Some of them have.
A good
Yes.
portion of them in that
I'll
realm that
agree
they
with you.
wanted to be successful.
I don't think that
The
it's a good
ones we
portion.
know, the ones that we know about have gone into drugs and was publicized and polarized. Yeah, that's a given. But it's the ones that we don't know about that we have to actually do the research on,
I
that they may
don't
have
think that
three,
the
four. You
majority
got
of
music
kids who
artists.
went into acting had somebody like Bill Cosby in their life. I mean, that's the other part of this that we're also not talking about is the
I'm just giving that example, but I'm
unbelievable
pretty sure
demand
not, of course.
that comes
This
with the money and the people who are trying to make money off of
Oh,
them
they're gonna
and the
milk you. They're gonna milk you
pressure.
till you stop breathing. Yeah,
Right.
we know
And the
that.
idea that most of those people are like, well, now that we've made a good amount of money, let's let you take some time to go back to school is bullshit. That's not normally
Yeah,
what
that's
happens.
total bullshit. When you get that, is because you're
Not
not
give a
making
fuck
enough
about
money,
you.
or you're falling.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I
Right.
know.
Your career passed
When they
away.
give you that, when they give you that speech, it's time to go back to school, is because your time is
Right.
done for making us
Right. And
money.
they're not going to help you do it. They might
No,
suggest it, but
they'll
they're not going to
they'll
be
suggest
like,
it and then move
let's
on. Right?
get
Of
some,
course.
let's get some pamphlets and we'll figure out how we're going to pay for this. And this is going to be good for you. That's not what happens. Right. I mean, when the money's gone, then you have to do what, then you're in the position that I am in where I've wanted to go back to school since I was like 22, 23. And yeah, to suggest it would have been impossible would not be accurate, but it would have been really, really harder than I was, willing to do. And I've been willing to work pretty hard in life. So are there going to be people that are willing to work harder than me and go back and do it? Of course there is. And again, I'm not saying that there isn't exceptions to the rule. I'm saying it's not what most people do. Most people in any career path, I mean, we do have numbers on this. This is common knowledge. People that don't go to college when they're supposed to go to college are very unlikely to ever go back. It is not common at all.
My buddy, he has 4 kids, right? Self-made man. And he sees you're familiar with multiple streams of income, right? So utilizing this pandemic, most people are like, hey, I get to work at home and spend more time with my family. He took up 3 jobs working from home and managed the time on them.
I had some.
So for 1 hour, you're getting paid 3 times over.
Okay.
So let's say you get paid $20 an hour for one job, but you're doing 3 times 3.
Yeah.
You're getting $60 an hour, right?
Making good money.
In the same note, you're doing that. You're now is what you look at as valuable. I have to do this, so I'm neglecting,
going back
time
to school
with the kids or going back to school, right?
Right, sure.
So
which is what makes it so hard for these people who stop. Like that's
another thing. When you look at this young lady,
about it is
going back to this young lady. When you look at what she's doing, she's neglecting her childhood, that innocence, or whatever she
and the simplest path she will ever have to certain things in her life, right? Like the idea of like,
can you say the life that we live is
just going to college,
path,
right?
bro?
I mean, the chances of you becoming an actor are a million times better if you do it when you're young and have those resources that you have when you're young, of people who want to help you out and push you in positive direction. You have avenues at schools that can get you, in the drama department or the music department. You can be in the band, like all these things that are just
you get the experience at an early age. So you get the experience at an early age as you go through life. Right.
That now at 30 years old,
right?
If being an influencer wasn't your passion and playing the guitar was, you know how much harder it is to learn how to play the guitar and find a band to play, go on gigs.
So we're saying the same thing.
She's all at playing music.
She's getting that experience right now, being an influencer at a young age. She's getting field experience instead of being taught how to do it in a school.
She's getting field experience in a very specific thing.
Yeah.
That's really hard to translate into anything other than like advertising and selling shit.
I don't know about that.
But if she could translate it, she could translate it. How she masters it is up to her.
Sure. Right. I mean, I could translate. I mean, like, and that's,
you could play football and you could be a wide receiver. You could be a defensive back, whatever you specialize in.
Definitely true.
You can be a
Not
quarterback.
what typically happens, but it's certainly possible. Like nothing I'm arguing is that it is impossible for somebody to make this choice and be successful in life. I am sure with the 300 million people we have just in this country alone, that there are a large number of people that have successfully pulled it off. But percentage wise, I think it's not going to be very large. And when I'm trying to help my kid, I'm not trying to pick the things that are going to have extremely unsuccessful luck about something that, again, like if
it's a lot of rich people, bro. A lot of wealthy people, but we keep
it's not about wealth. It's not about wealth.
No,
if to y'all's argument, if I truly felt like this was something that was going to make my kid happy for the rest of their fucking life, it was what they were truly passionate about.
Man, these kids change their goddamn mind all the time.
Right.
All the time. So let them enjoy the ride.
Except when you kid decides they want to play the guitar and doesn't drop out of school, they can change their mind and they still have tons of opportunities.
Because you tell them, like, you need to go to school or get an education so you can get a good paying job.
So that you can have a success. See, it's not just about having a good job. It's not. It's about an opportunity to a life based on a different definition of success, which is not how much money you make, but being able to put yourself in a position to be happy and content in life. And I don't think that telling a kid that putting aside everything else that you care about in life, I mean, I don't feel that, like, I recognize in sports, a lot of the kids who are successful are the ones who dropped everything and focused on their sport. And they found a lot of success
let me ask you a question.
in their sport. And a lot of them also found a lot of unhappiness in life because it was only about the one thing in money.
Let's look at something based on reality a little closer. When you talk to soldiers and veterans, did they join the military because of the benefits of being in the military and the money they can get, or did they join just to say, no, don't pay me, I want to go fight for my country overseas in a war?
Both.
What do statistics show you?
To lots of military.
Right.
You go for the
I mean, I'm sure.
college.
I'm sure there is
And
a very high percentage of people that do that. There are, I'm telling you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a very large percentage of people in the military because it's exactly what they wanted to do, because they wanted to defend their country, because they believe in service, because they believe in the unity of it and the idea of being in situations where it's about protecting their brothers. I mean, like, they are all in 100% soldiers. That's why they did it.
What about the ones who's like, hey, I just wanted to go get a check or pay for college, or
great.
Just, I didn't even know what I was gonna do. I didn't even know what I was gonna do, but I just joined in.
Right.
And then there's the ones that like Muhammad Ali.
Sure. And some of them start that way and end up finding their passion, and that's great. And I'm happy for them.
Bingo. So when these influencers start a certain way,
that's not the conversation that we're having. What you're suggesting is at 15, I should tell my kid it's okay to join the military because hopefully it'll be what
fucking tell them that when they're fucking in high school. Join ROTC, jump in this line, get ready to go into the military.
ROTC you can drop out of. ROTC
drop out of, but you got them in that route. You got to realize we are
I'm not
indoctrinating.
I'm not telling you not to guide somebody into going into influencing. Like, I'm saying I have a problem with a dad letting a kid drop out of school at 16. That's a very specific thing. Like, I'm not saying that it can't be a fucking career path. I'm not even saying that it
you don't want your kid to drop out of school at 16 to do nothing. Understandable. You don't want your kid to drop out at 16 with no job or no type of way.
No, it's not just that.
Listen,
like,
you don't want them to drop out of school to do a lot of things. But if your child is making $400,000 or $500,000 a year in 4 hours a day,
I don't care. It's that's money.
I mean, it's money, but you're gonna be out of this motherfucker in a year anyway, and you're making more money than generations of people will ever see in their lifetime.
That's not.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you handle that, but we're gonna make sure we get some educators in the background for you to teach you some things to help you find what is your passion in life. Do you like astronomy? We're gonna cut the bullshit out. You only got 1 year left. You already made it through elementary, middle school. You in your junior, senior year of high school, and you hit a niche to where you can make $400,000-$500,000. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? What do you like to do while you're doing that? You want to be a scientist? I'm not finna have nobody teaching you how to cook. I'm finna
That's
get
what
this
happens.
money. I'm finna get NASA on the line.
You're painting a really pretty picture of something that almost never happens.
I'm painting a specific picture
of something
the options that are
rarely ever happens.
But what does happen is that a 16-year-old can make $400,000 or $500,000 a year.
Right. Think that they're much more important than they are because they have money.
Right. Because they do that, and in 3 years they'll make $1 million and a half. In 3 years they'll make $1.5 million.
Okay.
So take that 3 years, make $1 million. 3 years
they make $20 million. Like, that's not what's going to make them happy in life.
But I'm still going to make sure you're educated.
Right. I get the argument. I don't agree with it.
whether that's happening for that individual or not,
and I'm going to prove
that's
to you
outside. That's outside of me.
So
whether
that's not happening, what typically happens. They don't go on to be scientists, and I mean, like, and if they do, it's much later on in life. Time is something that we have.
Maya, she's a scientist. Maya biology.
Fine ass Blossom, huh?
Fine ass Blossom. She's a scientist.
Yeah, there's exceptions to the rule. Absolutely.
That's what this guy is good at that. Like, I
Well,
love it.
I mean, pointing out like that's like saying if you decide to play basketball, you're going to be Kobe Bryant. No, you're probably not. It's not
like
impossible.
Adam, you like that
Yeah,
car?
but
Do you mean the
he already
automobile?
beat those odds by being a successful influencer.
One thing has nothing like because you are good at getting people to watch you. You're saying that's evidence that you'll be good at managing money and
Oh no,
blowing up much earlier than you should.
You just brought up Michael Jordan. I think it was Michael
Kobe
Jordan.
Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. I apologize. Kobe.
Yeah,
I
but they're
apologize,
different
Kobe. But
arguments
that's
again.
what he had all the odds stacked up against him of being a famous basketball player when he was 13 or probably.
Okay.
And
so since he beat those odds, then statistically he's also got a really good chance of being a professional football player because he can beat odds.
No, but he did beat those odds, and she beat similar odds in her profession.
And this young lady is on a path of possibly beating them odds.
Right. Everybody is always on a path to possibly.
And we are in the same life that we left high school
but
in.
If you look at the
in
size
a different
of
level,
the
and we haven't
casinos in
the
Las Vegas,
odds.
most people don't. And those aren't even nearly as bad of odds. And yet most people have their money in Vegas. And that's when they have like 55-45 odds, not 1 in 200,000 odds.
Man,
but does that make it impossible? No, it just makes it an extremely unlikely scenario.
Vegas is a nice place to get a fucking wake-up call. I love it. I'm glad you brought that up. I would sit down and talk, bro. I'm always in Vegas, and I stopped going to the Strip, and I started going to the like where the homeless people at. Just a mile up Fremont. You go up the Strip, then you hit Fremont, go a mile up. I think it's like Four Masters or that whole area up there. They got it all blocked off like some weird place now at like over the last 2 years. But back, a couple of years ago, in the years leading up to, it was always homeless people out there. You're talking about people sleeping on the concrete in 114-degree weather with a blanket. Like, what are you finna do? Where you gonna find somewhere to live? No, I live right here on the sidewalk. And I would just get their stories. Bring them some water, bring them a whiskey, whatever the fuck they want. Just let me get your story.
Yeah.
And I've heard some crazy shit, bro. Some people were fucking in Cali living in what is that? Simi Valley or fucking where whatever the fuck they live, like money, bro. Money. And now they're living on a sidewalk block in Las Vegas. I was like, damn, that shit is
and to
crazy.
My point, they had a much better chance of taking their money to Vegas and winning than anybody ever has of becoming a professional.
They worked hard and came up and went to Vegas.
Sure.
And catch the sidewalk heat.
Right. What people hate to
that's
admit
a crazy thing, bro.
Is that while success requires hard work and dedication, and it's very hard to become successful without those things, it also takes luck. Like that's the thing that nobody wants to admit.
No, I agree with that. I use the example all the time.
Some really good luck along the way.
I use the example all the time. Look, it's 26 teams in the NFL, right? Right. Break that triangle further down.
32.
It's 32. I'm sorry, 32. I'm thinking.
Does anybody know what the size of a roster is?
Oh crap! I think that's like 52 or 56.
Yeah, 40, 50 something, right? But check this out though. Map that out to how many
less than 20,000 NFL players in a country with 300 and something million people.
Yeah. No, but break down.
And it's not like there's a small percentage of people that want to be a professional football player.
It's a minute percentage. But check this out of who actually make it there. But check this out. Think about how many high schools are in a city.
Yeah.
How many high schools have A and B, C string, right? How many cities are in a state?
Right.
How many states in the country, bro? That shit becomes astronomical.
Right. And it's even worse now.
All you have to look at is how many colleges there are in the United States versus how many NFL teams.
Right. And the worst of it is now, unless you have like I wouldn't even say as good as Michael Jordan. You have to be like, you would have to be.
You just have to
at
be
the
different.
level higher
You have
than
to be
Michael Jordan
different.
was of everybody else in the NBA to everybody who's in the NBA today to be able to make it to the NBA without having to, like, at 8 years old start making every fucking thing you do about
if you're trying to get to the front of that line, yeah, you got to be that.
No, I mean just to make it to the NBA now.
Yeah, you got to be. I mean, for your
unless
they need fillers, bro. They need fillers and ball passers. You know, everybody ain't a star. Everybody ain't a star.
I'm not. My point isn't to become Michael Jordan. I'm saying if you want to like have a halfway normal childhood and play in the NBA, you'd have to be as good as Michael Jordan, because
I'm just try for the Spurs next week.
A normal player in the NBA, you have to, at like 8 years old, dedicate everything about your life to being a basketball player, and then you have like 1 in a chameleon chance of actually fucking making it. And if you don't,
so when this young lady is a year or 2 year away from being an adult, hey, why not?
That's not what the odds are.
You like how I brought that back around?
Hey, why not?
Except it's not what the odds are to being a success. It's what the odds are to being an NFL player. It's not nearly that hard to actually be successful.
She could end up. What matter of fact, I never even asked, what is this young lady influence? What, she just does random shit like push-ups or pull-ups or some shit?
No, she did makeup, and then she started doing some skits too, and that's when she actually got more viewers. Was she did some skits and they were pretty funny.
So she started acting.
Yes.
When the makeup.
So you can see where this can go.
Not when the makeup didn't work. That's what she did.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah.
When the bitch couldn't do makeup, she started acting.
She was really passionate about acting. She just started with makeup before she broke into her project.
You can't talk shit about someone who's trying something new.
I'm not.
That's what Adam is doing, man.
I don't have any problem.
Down.
I don't have any problem with this girl. She's 16 years old. Like she's all like probably has it going on more than normal 16-year-olds. My problem is with the parents that can't recognize that the likelihood of this becoming an actual life opportunity for her is slim to fucking none.
It's her life opportunity right now, though.
So what? Life's long, man. There can be plenty of life opportunities.
Based on your statistics, she gonna die next year of crack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
based on my statistics, she probably doesn't have a good chance of being an NFL player if this doesn't go through, obviously. But let me make this point. I think what you have a real big issue with is what you're seeing is this is her best opportunity, like, to make the amount of money that she can make doing
not
this.
At all.
And I'm saying
the sky is the limit for her now, bro.
Not at all. Then why does she have to take all that risk? If the sky's the limit, the sky's not going to be the limit for her in a few years.
Man, we all take risks.
You're talking about all these statistics.
You have a cough in Walmart right now?
You're talking about all these statistics and all these the best case scenario and trying to get people on the right path to be the safest or whatever way of making a happy life. But if you look at a lot of the very successful people right now, they're not successful because they stayed on the narrow path. They're successful because they took risks. They're successful because they tried new things. They're successful because they did outside of the box.
Right, and for every single one of those like successful actors, there's like a million of them. Like,
but you want to take that opportunity away from your child?
You a perfect example of that, Adam. Are you more successful at what you're doing now or basketball? It's a no-brainer, right?
What I'm doing now, I don't understand what that means, though.
What you're doing, the path that you're on in life, you're more successful at right now than you were at. So that's the whole point.
I never wanted to drop out of school to play basketball.
I mean, could you be like Mike, like Bow Wow? Would you?
If I had dropped out of school, I don't think dropping out of school would have given me that much better of a chance. And because I didn't, my life has a better projection than it would have if I had dropped out of school. Because again, You're trying to suggest what I'm saying.
What if you did?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
What you're trying to suggest is that I'm saying people don't have the right to chase their dreams, or that this girl can't be an influencer, which is not at all what I've said this entire fucking time. What I've said is I'm not happy with her parents thinking at 16 years old, it's okay to suggest that this should be the only thing that she focuses on. Because
I'm not a parent. I agree with you.
The chances of this actually being the passion thing of her life is not very good. And she's cutting off a lot of opportunity to what is not very likely to be a long-lasting, sustaining thing. And
I'm telling you, you
don't have to do any of those things. Actors, very few actors are only successful actors because they started when they were fucking 10 years old. There's actors who became actors at 40, like literally didn't even try to do it until they were 40 years old. You don't have to.
Actually, Samuel L. Jackson was a very good actor, like a stage actor and improv actor, but he didn't actually hit the movie screens until I think 38.
Yeah,
I have a 16-year-old right now, bro,
but
I'm trying to fast track her into adulthood.
Good.
As far as like
good
finances, driving, all this shit that she's gonna have to face in the next 2 years. I'm trying to fast track her to.
Good.
Right.
Good.
One of those things is teaching her finances and money and being able to pick up these bills and pay because you're gonna have to, right?
Right.
Now, mind you, if she was like, Dad, I got this on my YouTube and I got like I'm teaching people how to put on makeup and I just made $400,000. I'm like, let me hold $5. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell her.
I'm saying I don't.
Okay, well, maybe
it doesn't have to
get with you and look at it deeper, look at a more
serious. Doesn't have to be one or the other. Y'all are suggesting that it has to be one or the other.
What I'm not saying is that
she can't be an influencer.
She can be, but she can also get her education later if she has
Except this that doesn't normally
rare fucking statistic. It may not normally happen, but like you say, to be this Michael Jordan, to be these people, you have to dedicate your life to get to this point.
That they have to be a one. It's not about it being in order to have a happy life.
But I'm telling you, I'm raising a 16-year-old right now. And right now at 16, it's a reminder of where I was at 16, the mindset. You can't tell them motherfuckers nothing. You tell them something if you think you're going to be, I'm Dad and I have spoken. Wait till, bro, what did you do when you were 16?
Sure.
Come on. They're going to do what the fuck they want to do because they already started to smell their armpit, bro.
Just making the argument that at 18 I won't be able to tell them what to do, but at 16,
you know what I'm saying? But that's what I told you initially. I said you ain't gonna tell them what to do at 18, but you're still gonna try.
You're still gonna be their parent. At 16, at 16, I do have the ability to keep them from dropping out of school and becoming an influencer. And they can hate me for it all they want to. My job, I want my kids to love me. I want them to be friendly with me. But my job is to be their friend.
I don't know.
My job is to be their parent. And if they have to hate me to do a good job at being a parent, then they're gonna have to fucking hate me because I'm not gonna do a bad job as a parent so that we can hang out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
I was actually able to sign out of school at 16 from Marshall and go to Clark as long as it was going over 18. No, 17. That year at 17.
I mean, I tell my kids this every day. They bet, I'm not saying it's impossible. They better be really fucking sneaky because
oh, they are, bro.
No,
trust me, they are. You think you smart.
Okay. I don't know, man. We tried some stuff.
I'm saying I don't know what my kid's gonna do that I didn't do. Good luck.
Pray to God. Pray to God that they don't do the shit that we did. But right, exactly.
That I didn't come up with and aren't going to be aware of them trying to fucking do now. My parents, God bless them, wonderful parents, were not me as a kid. They had no chance of stopping me because they didn't do any of the shit that I fucking did.
Man, that story.
I love my parents. Man, you know my parents. Bro, I was just a little sleepy.
Dude, if my kids
shit now, I'm saying it now, and I'm 43. My mom has no idea the shit.
I'm just saying, if my kids are doing much worse shit than I was doing at that age, I'm like, they're gonna be in jail. Like I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm saying,
I'm
like
on the
We
line.
did this shit that we're supposed to be in jail for. We
That's
still
right.
got, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Like,
I'm
they'll like, it's
saying,
fine.
so imagine
Okay,
if it was
bro,
much
it's the
worse.
circle of
Like
life.
what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Going.
give me an
Like
example
this,
of what you think
tiptoeing
my
on the
kid's
line.
gonna do.
I can and cannot say. I mean, I cannot say the things that I did.
I'm saying, so give me an example of what my kid's
Legal.
gonna try that I didn't get away with. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, it's not about them not getting away with it. They're gonna
Straight
try.
up flying to
of
Mexico.
course they're gonna
Oh,
try. Of course they're gonna try, and God love them for doing it because they're kids.
And then you say flying to Mexico.
In fact,
for reals.
I've honestly accepted the fact that I'm gonna
Mexico.
let them get away with some of it because I don't think it would be fair for me to catch them all the fucking
It's that
time.
adventure, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, exactly. Like I got to experience some shit because my parents didn't catch me doing everything, and that was a big part of my life. And I don't think it would be fair for me to catch them as often as I think I will. So,
I just put the pressure on my daughter. I tell her,
But that's the other thing too, and that's what I do with my son is that they're going to do some things. They're gonna do some things.
yeah.
If you catch them in the house, they're gonna do them somewhere else.
yeah,
And I try and at least corral him and teach him how to do things that aren't necessarily good for you, but do it safely. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do it in a safe atmosphere. Do it where there's precautions. Don't do it inside the house with the restroom locked in the bathtub. You know what I mean?
Don't use the stove to light firecrackers and throw them out the door.
Exactly. The house will burn down. Go outside,
and
have the water on. You know, that's what I'm saying.
here's
In
the other
dead
thing.
part of the grass.
Parents didn't have it as easy too. Like I can GPS track the fuck out of those kids now. You know what I'm
You
saying?
wanna know what's funny? You wanna know what my birds and the bees talk was? My mom came in the room. She said, "Hey, let me tell you something. Don't be throwing no pee-pees in my house." That was my birds and bees talk, bro. And I'm like, I'm watching football. And I'm sitting back thinking, like, I take my pee-pee and I throw it. What?
Yeah.
I'm confused. And then I just turned on HBO Real Sex and I learned what it was.
That's right. Look,
you know,
I had a. I
think
I,
the point taught me my birds and bees.
I don't know if my school did a better job or what. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I learned sex positions or something, but like I had a
I did.
No,
that Real Sex, that Kama Sutra episode, I think like episode 33 or some shit like that.
Yeah. I'm not saying I didn't find out about sexual positions, Dot. I'm saying like
I used to watch Channel 99 with the squiggly lines.
Hell yeah.
I saw
I had that thing with the
I'm saying my
hold and the vertical hold, and you'd be like,
as far as like the things you needed to know to like not get somebody pregnant or catch an S, like the really important shit. Like I learned, like my sex education class like taught me all the shit I needed to know. It didn't teach me all the shit I wanted to know. That I had to find other resources for. But
like you catch something, your people gonna catch on fire and burn. I'm like,
saying,
what?
like I hope
that.
I mean, I got to avoid extremely uncomfortable conversation with my parents because my school taught me that shit, which was much. I didn't want them to have that conversation with me. I don't want to have that conversation with my kid. You know what I mean? Like it works a whole lot better when a third party gets to handle that. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what,
I got a 16-year-old, bro. So it's just, hey, I got guns and I don't got bail money, so I'm willing to sit down. So what you trying to do?
Yeah, I did the high school thing.
That's the conversation, bro.
The sex ed thing, and I really honestly believe that every time you had sex, there was a baby coming. Every damn time. Like if you put it in, there was a baby coming out.
Like, oh,
that's scary though. That's scary
shit.
I mean,
I think we all thought that though.
I
think I thought that for a time frame too, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Sex. You know, I mean, I have kids. I don't want to believe that, but they're probably often going to, and like not having them educated, like you know what I'm saying. I'm like,
I got whooping, so you know,
none of that's gonna work. Like
across the back,
ass whooping wasn't gonna keep me from doing that shit.
Oh, it'll
like,
keep you get that extension
cord.
You across.
I mean, I'm
gonna do it, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not
caught.
Like we all know that punishment is very rarely a deterrent for shit we really want to do.
That's true. That's true.
You ever got caught sneaking out of the girl house, Adam?
I got caught trying to sneak a girl into my house.
Oh, okay.
By my brother, and I was like, damn, you can't just like You know,
You
you
can't
ain't my
just help
dad.
it out.
What you doing? You know, like
I
get the
got
fuck
caught.
out of here.
I got caught by my roommate's mom coming into our apartment.
Sneaking out of
You got caught by your roommate's mom.
My roommate's mom, because well, I didn't have a door. Well, actually, there was a door. It just didn't like close or lock or what. It wasn't even on its hinges. So I was like, and it was the morning, so we weren't actively doing it. We were just passed out without any clothes on. But yeah, his mom came in and was like, "What the hell?"
I think I've probably got caught out of or in maybe 4-5 different times. Like
I
the
got
one
caught trying to
scariest
pick up
time
a girl
was
one time, like from her house, and her dad came down instead. It was like she isn't going anywhere, and I was like, yeah, all right.
I know
All
2
right.
times.
That's
One
okay.
one time was scary was because the chick's mom walked in on us.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Her mom, but
definitely
her
never
dad
had
was
anything
like
like
this
that.
super huge, like military, like
Wait.
diesel.
I saw a movie like that started that way one time.
Yo, this was real. The crazy shit about it was that when it happened, I mean, she was performing oral stuff, right? And when
Oh,
it
that's
I
even
just
worse. I think that's
it
even
was
worse than like,
bro.
than
I
like getting
literally
caught.
like I did a football move around the door, down the stairs, jumped in my mom's car. I was like 16. We were both 16, 17, whatever. And all I saw was her yelling out the window, like, "Take me with you." I'm like, I'm not
Hell
finna
no!
call you no more. Like,
I don't know your name.
I was
I lost your
terrified. This
name.
we had the house
Really,
phone.
I gotta
You know what I'm
say,
saying?
I was never, as an adult, I've been
So I'm gonna take
technically
your
in a
number out
position
my
where
Rolodex.
somebody could have walked
Trapper
in
Keeper.
on me, but we were adults and nobody was gonna do
Nah.
that because we were adults in a room, and other adults are smart enough not to, walk into a room with two adults
My
without
mom
knocking
told
on
me
the
no more
door, or
peepees in her house, so I was calling
like,
hiking other.
hey, can we come in? So I don't think I was ever in a position, like, as a younger person,
Yeah.
like my first, like, long time sexual partner, girlfriend, had an apartment. So
it was easy for you.
yeah, it wasn't really an issue. And
I
by the
mean,
time we broke up, I was almost 18, maybe 18. I was 18 by the time we broke up.
my
So
daughter got this little dude. He's 17, 18, and like I was like, "Hey, look, man, I got guns. My partners is, we all with it." You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fair.
So when they at that age of 16, 17, 18, bro, it's a dangerous world because it's like you
Yeah,
got
it
these, and I got a girl, and these little dudes and stuff,
God bless both of
they had
y'all
that
for having
line.
girls.
You know what I'm
shit,
saying?
I ain't
Like,
worried about
hey,
these
bro.
bitches. Fuck them. Ain't none of them. Look,
Hey, I
none of
told
them
my
gonna fuck
daughter,
with.
I'll tell you, I'm
I'm
willing to
not
go to
saying that
jail,
they ain't
dog.
tough.
Like,
Look, I like, when I was young, I was like, that expression, you got two dogs inside you, love and hate, and fight in the battle, right? And the one that wins is the one you feed the most, right? My hate dog was like a fucking ripped up fucking pit bull that was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was an angry motherfucker all the time. And probably, if a dad had gotten really fresh with me, might have thought, I'm gonna handle this. I'm telling you, I ain't worried about me at that age. Like, I'm a dad. You ain't got nothing on me. Like, I don't give a fuck. I will shoot you. Like,
I was always calm
you
because
better
I
be
was
ready
like,
to come to shots over that shit, because otherwise you ain't winning this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I had that
ain't
same
worried about that
mindset,
shit.
just calm about it, because I'm like, man, I don't think they really understand the nature of the beast that they're dealing with me. Like,
Man.
I live in a whole different world inside of my mind. I'm scared of myself.
Yeah, I'm saying, when the first time I heard that expression, I could, like, picture that dog. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, he is winning. He's a big meat motherfucker. You know what I mean? I need to feed that other dog before he eats that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
I was never like that. I was never like that. Never really mean. Never really like an asshole. Never really any of that. No, but I had a switch. Like, I had a point man. And if you went past that point, or if I went past that point,
Yeah. I
all
don't
bets
think
are
I
off.
was a mean asshole. Like, I don't think I ever went. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, now what would make it worth it to me would be less, but it wasn't like somebody had to do something. Like, it wasn't like a just sitting there talking to somebody and then like, oh, I hate you, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I was always a nice person, but that, like, it was always like, because that shit was just boiling underneath all the fucking time, ready to come out the second somebody gave me an excuse for it to come out. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I was sitting
like
plot
that.
payback.
I was like, yeah, no joke.
yeah.
No, I was a thinker. I was always like, my mind was on, hey, look, how can I get out of this? How can we get out of this? The best way without anyone getting hurt, this and that.
I'm defeated and undefeated at the same time, if you understand what I mean.
Like, my mindset was,
but the thing was, when it got to a point, my brain shut off. Like, I wouldn't even remember what happened. It would just go down.
Yeah.
It would go down.
I don't know that I ever like didn't know what I was doing, but like for a good part of my life, like, if you did or said a certain thing, I just didn't care what the consequences were. Like, I've had a gun pointed at me and talking shit to the guy who's pointing the gun at me. Because it was like, you better shoot me, motherfucker, because you fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna find your ass now. Like, which is.
And I'm like, this motherfucker shot me in my pinky toe.
I've been shot at. I've been shot at a couple of times, and even that didn't make me stop and say, you're not making good decisions. This is not smart,
Oh man, the shootouts and shootings, it's crazy. But that's the thing, though, bro. Like, when we grew up, man, it was the 90s and shit. So
I really
when you think about like now, it's
crazy as I was.
But it's more dangerous now because these kids, they don't have that chin check test. It's like everything is all the way up and all the way live. So it's like, let them do what they're doing. We live in a different animal than our parents did, but our parents lived in a different animal than we did. You know what I'm saying? And so they live in a different animal than we do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I look at it like, I couldn't imagine what it was like to grow up when my mom grew up. My mom grew up with segregation, bro.
Yeah.
She got grown up being called all types of monkeys
and
this and that.
The other way around
that shit, but then I also grew up in the height of gang bang violence. You know what I'm saying? Now these kids grow up in a point of like weak stuff that we feel is weak.
Yeah,
because of how we grew up, and I think our parents may feel the same thing. So it's just that life cycle, bro.
And I was smart enough to listen to them because they knew what the fuck they were talking about.
Oh, these motherfuckers ain't listening. They're not listening, and then they got money, which makes it even harder for them to listen. Hence the 16-year-old. You think that her dad was like, "Hey, you should go to school." She's like, she probably threw $100 racks out. Like, bitch, get your ass in the kitchen to make me some cereal, Dad.
This is my point. That's not a lesson a 16-year-old should be learning. Like, of humility, hard work. Those are really lessons. If you don't learn,
I will tell you that like. I got to get this lady's name and where it came out and what I was watching, but like, yes,
Joe Biden?
The dad did say that she could do this thing, but he never quit his job. He never like, now I'm gonna suck off of you. You know, him and his wife, they kept working. They live in the same house.
Because like Adam said, she's gonna be on crack in 2 years.
Yeah, I'm saying
like
and the thing is like, I think even. I'm not saying that parents can't do it the right way, right? But I think it's so much harder than anybody ever could imagine it is until you're in it. And now it's like, okay, well, we want her to wear this outfit. Well, that goes against the rules that we set. Yeah, but if she doesn't wear it, she's not going to make the $500,000, and then this company won't work with her, and then they'll put out shit saying that she's difficult. And then it's like all these fucking things that get stacked up on one outfit. Fuck, okay, she can, and it's just. So I've heard so many stories where that's it for everybody, right? It's like you go into it with this set of rules and morality that you're going to follow, and then they have people who are professionally the best at getting you to change your mind about what those rules and morality are until they crack away at it, and you're 5 years down the road.
That's the world today,
soft
bro.
porn crap too. You know what I mean? That's been around for a long time.
Right. It gets it. I think I could do it, but I don't want to be in that position, and I don't want my kids to be in that position to where we're either doing the right thing and pissing everybody off, or not pissing everybody off and not doing what we plan to. You know what I mean? That's a fucking shitty place to be.
Oh, that's what I wanted to show you.
That's what you're saying is that, like, you're absolutely right. It's a hard road, and it's smaller possibility of coming out on the end okay.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, be there every minute. Be part of it. Be a part. No matter
when you have any chance at all. Yeah.
No matter what your child does.
Right. Adam, when you get time, YouTube Fresh Prince of DC. Bruh.
Okay. This is a show or something?
Comedy.
Yeah. What's it on?
YouTube.
Okay.
I think it's like three videos or maybe 4.
All right, I'll check it out.
Fresh Prince of DC. Bruh. I stumbled on it and died laughing. I'm like, Adam needs this. He needs this immediately.
I'll check it out.
Fresh Prince of DC, bro. That shit was funny as hell. I think it's on like 3 videos. I didn't even go to the page. I just saw, like, you click on one, it brings up like the other 2. So I think it's on like 3 videos.
Okay. I'll check it out.
The shit's fucking hilarious. But yeah, we were 30 minutes past our time. This
40.
is where Will would be like, hey guys, so hey, good talks, man. It was healthy,
Yeah.
Don't let your kids drop out of school, even if they're making bands. But let my daughter come on to me and be like, Dad, I just got $1 million. I'm like, school? What? We out.
Yeah.
Get your passport. No, no, I'm always.
Have a plan B. Always have a plan B.
Right.
Always. I try. I get mad. My daughter used to get mad at me because I make her listen to TED Talks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was so excited because she's in all AP classes and she's getting college credits in the 11th grade. Bro, I wanted to sit down and start class with her, bro. You know what I'm saying? When I had to take her to go register in school, I was like, I was so excited. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I wish I fucking had this at, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have, I had the basic classes, but I didn't get good enough grades to catapult me into this realm of air. So I'm super proud. I'm like, bro, you're smarter than, I mean, you're not smarter than me. I'm a gangster, but no, I'm like, you're smarter than me at my age. And that's so dope. And I don't take no credit for that because she did that on her path.
Well, and I think what brings me a little bit of, keeps me from getting, I want my kids to be smarter than me. I hope they're smarter than me, but they're not going to be more experienced than me. You know what I mean? Like, you can know all kinds of shit.
Like, chill out.
And honestly, I hope they're not as experienced as me.
Exactly.
Right. But I mean, even if they hadn't lived my life, I mean, experience comes with time. You know what I mean? Like, even if they went out and did all the shit that I did at my age, I
don't want them to be Bob Saget half-baked experience.
Exactly.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
Well, and the thing about
stoned eating a cheesecake in the bush.
The other thing about being rich at such a young age is it's that unearned feeling. Like, what she's accomplishing is amazing, right? But the feeling of accomplishment that you get from that is greater than what it deserves.
But I think that we're guessing, because you got to realize we can't confuse the two with children that have that type of money. Like, oh, my parents gave me 200,000 versus a kid that just started doing something and it amassed that amount of money. She did work for it.
Yes, she did.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference between.
but that's what I'm saying. Handlers could make better decisions.
At 16, you don't have the ability to understand the pride that should come from that, as opposed to the pride that does. Like,
she may not, bro, but she got to be on that mission. You know what I'm saying?
That's her journey. None of that matters. My point is, it gives most people that age a cockiness and a level of like self. Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Self-righteousness?
self-righteous, just like
Yeah, but
So-
are not teenagers that though in a stupid ass way?
and now
Without
imagine
money?
that they're now imagine that's my point. Now let them make more money than their parents do,
Yeah.
and all of a
Well,
sudden they go from thinking that they're smarter than their parents are to knowing that they're smarter than their parents are, even though
so at
they're
that
not.
point is at that point
Being
is the
able to
beauty
make
of the
some,
life lesson that she is about to learn if she makes the wrong
it's a
step.
hard fucking lesson, and like there are lessons I'd rather my kids not have to learn the hard way, and that's a hard fucking way to learn that lesson.
No, that's true, but hey, 2 beans in the bucket. Fuck it. Chuck it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's
Was my kid. That's not the that's not the expression I use when I'm deciding what I want my kid, Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I want my kids to learn, to respect. I try constantly to endow on them the idea you guys are brilliant and smart, and I will learn shit from you, as we go through life. You do not have the experience that I have, and you never will, because I'm always gonna be 30 something years older than you
because
are.
you
You
grew
know
up
what I
in
mean?
1912, motherfucker. You
Exactly.
old. They got electricity now.
So there is never a time where I can't offer, a thought or or an idea or a concept about something that you're thinking about that you already have. You know what I'm saying?
Because you old, bro.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Oh my god,
Exactly.
Dad, a tape
That's
deck? Like, do you not just download it? That's where you get that shit from. I went to the iPhone store in
I want to
3 minutes.
I want to try to, and I know it's never going to be perfect. And of course, they're going to be kids, and they're going to think they're smart, and they're going to be brats, and they're going to be teenagers, and all that shit. But I paid attention to my parents, not all the time. Plenty of times I thought I knew better than they did, or I didn't want to hear what they had to say. But I listened. I didn't always agree with them. I always listened. Sometimes I thought they were full of shit or dumb or didn't know what I knew. And sometimes I was right, not nearly as often as I thought I was. Sometimes I was. Sometimes I knew some shit that they didn't know. Sometimes I knew some shit that they didn't know, and what they were telling me was still infinite wisdom that I could have massively benefited from if I hadn't been so fucking full of myself.
That's right. Hard-headed.
Right. If I can instill in my kids the ability to appreciate my wisdom just a little bit more than I appreciated my parents' wisdom, then then
I like
that's
the fact that you said that, Vic, because you know what society is teaching kids today.
When they're brilliant, fucking know everything.
It's so horrible. It teaches them. When we grew up, it taught us a hard head make a soft ass. You tell that to one of these young girls now, it's like a soft ass make a big bag. Boop. What? 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 Get the fuck out of here. That's the mindset now. Hard
look, I know kids have never
soft ass make a big bag. Wait a minute, you motherfuckers is just lost. Good night.
Look, every generation thinks they're smarter than the generation that came before them, but I'm not that old, right? So it's not like I've been around for that many generations. But like kids today think the world is like everybody that came before them, it's all their fault. They didn't do anything, right? Like the fact that
they got a Joe Biden concept.
Right. The fact that racism
he said right. He agreed with me.
The fact that racism exists isn't because it's a hard issue. It's because the people that came fix it, right? And the fact that
people that founded the country.
The fact that sexism is around isn't because of that it's a hard thing to get rid of. It's because the women that came before the girls today just put up with more shit than they're willing to put up with no appreciation for the fact that they can even say that shit is because of the women that came before them who couldn't have said that shit without getting their asses whooped. The fact that you today can say whatever the fuck you want to on this show with me is because people got their asses beat and lynched and fucked up saying
that's
shit,
real.
not even not even the shit that you were saying. You know what I mean?
The CIA killed the motherfuckers. No, I'm gonna stop.
I know. It's just because we're trying to get off, so I don't want to take a lot of time with this. But there's no appreciation. Like I understood the backs of the people I was standing on that allowed me to be the person and be with the people that I'm with today as I was growing up. They're and obviously not all kids think the same way, but there is this growing feeling that like everybody else just stood around and did nothing, and they're gonna have to come around and fix everything.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
No appreciation whatsoever for the fact that the only reason they're even having those conversations that most of them are gonna do nothing with, by the way, is because of all the people that came before them who got them to a point where they're even thinking that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
No appreciation for the
Joe.
came before you.
It was hard. Like a woman couldn't just be like, I'm not gonna take that shit. Like, you know, you're not always in a position where you can just decide what you're going. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous.
That's that. It used to be legal for a man to beat his wife if the branch
also a husband couldn't rape his wife. He couldn't get in trouble for beating his wife. Yeah. It used to be almost impossible for a boyfriend to get charged with rape.
Yep. It used to be illegal. It used to be legal to own black people.
Yeah, it used to be legal to own black people. Crying out loud.
Oh, I love it. It's so fun.
And on that,
hey, y'all. On that. All right, love you, brothers. Y'all have a good one. Oh, shout out to my homegirl Leanna. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. 3 o'clock next week.
Yes, sir.
All right.